I
It's ticking
will
up.
attempt to refresh furiously.
It's on. We're live.
Oh, hello there, everyone. This is a spicy podcast with
Oh,
just the main
spicy hot.
cast. Uh, Welcome to the roast of Harry Potter
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
and its author.
I well, I do want to say that we won't, or certainly I won't be certainly bringing up Rowling's turf antics, because they don't really have that much to do with how shit Harry Potter is.
True, but there you have to admit there is an influence.
There's definitely an influence in parts, but like it's not like Rowling's biases are certainly a part of it. Cough cough the goblins, but
Oh,
Oh God, no.
the actual turf stuff didn't actually start until after Harry Potter was over. I don't think so. I don't think it's that relevant beyond the fact that hey, J.K. Rowling is a turf and you shouldn't give her any more money.
now are we gonna just stick to the main series, or are we gonna talk about the follow-up stuff like
Oh,
we
First
have-
Child and
Oh
Fantastic
God, I don't want to because those are a podcast in and of themselves because of how god awful they are.
Beasts? That is fair
We'll
enough.
see how much time we have left.
I doubt we'll
go
have
book by
much
book.
time. Let's go book by book, and then once we're at the end, we can start, picking some stuff up. So, starting at the very beginning, Dumbledore dumps Harry on the front step like he's a bundle of apples.
Is that literally what it says in text?
Not literally what it says in text, but he is in a basket and he puts him on the Dursleys' front step, and Harry is not found until Petunia goes to pick up the milk, which
In
is
the morning.
which
So
is
he did-
dawn.
Okay, yeah,
That's
fair.
a responsible adult
He
thing.
did leave a literal infant. Was 1 month old or
1 year old.
1 month.
1 year and
1 year
3
old
and 4
in-
months
Wait,
old.
how did he fit in a basket?
Big basket.
Big basket then, yeah.
I mean,
Kind of big.
what you should be questioning is how Harry fit in Hagrid's coat, because that's where he stayed for most of the journey. I'd also like to point out that the timeline for that whole thing doesn't work, because the Potters are attacked Halloween night, and then Harry is delivered midnight between the 1st and the 2nd of November.
Yeah.
And
But what if they count night as any time after 5 p.m. because it's England? Rural England.
yeah, but it was October and November. It doesn't get that dark that early at that point. In December, January, and February, yes, it does. It gets dark at around like 4:30, 5 o'clock. I would fully admit that. But in late October, early November, it doesn't get that dark that early. And even then, like it. So this is, I can't remember the exact calculations of this, but somebody did calculate where. So in book 7, obviously, Harry and Hagrid take the flying motorcycle from Privet Drive to Tonks's parents' house. And that takes.
Oh, so they calculated the flight speed of the motorcycle?
Maybe not the flight speed of the motorcycle, but that takes, less than an entire night. It takes maybe 3-4 hours, I would say. And it was, sort of other side of the country. The Potters' cottage in Godric's Hollow, which I believe is canonically in Wales.
Oh, it's in Wales.
Is not that further west than Tonks' parents' house. So why the fuck did it take an entire night and day for Hagrid to get there?
This is one of those Belisarius Maxim things that
Also, on the subject of Hagrid's coat, I thought it was basically agreed upon in the fandom that it's a coat of holding.
I mean, yes.
I mean, it's probably got, it's probably, its own pocket dimension, let's be real.
Yeah.
that would be fun.
Also, we must consider Hagrid is a very chunky boy.
He is a very big boy. He's a very big boy. The other thing from
Buys feet pics, apparently.
the other things from that scene, Dumbledore says even if he could do something about Harry's scar, which we haven't even seen him try and do anything, he wouldn't do anything about it. Which, in the context of it's a Horcrux,
Yeah.
I mean, it's established that the entire Dumbledore's entire purpose for Harry's life was to die.
I mean,
Literally was raising him to die at the right time.
Look,
so,
look. The point of this podcast is I'm going to tear Dumbledore down scene by
absolutely.
scene.
No. I'm not. Don't think I'm defending him. Like, that's the dick move. You're literally raising, not just raising the baby, leaving the baby overnight in November in England in a basket. Also, 1-year-olds can crawl around and stuff.
Exactly.
They jump all the time. Like, there's no guarantee that baby would have been there by the time the milkman arrived. Also, the milkman arrived, put the milk on the porch, saw that there was a baby on the front step, and just moved on with his life.
Possibly Newspaper Boy as well. I can't remember if it exactly mentions newspaper. I should point out my credentials for citing most of this, which is from the age of about probably 3 or 4 to the age of about 11 to 13. I listened to the Harry Potter audiobooks every single night. They are ingrained in my brain, even if they have faded due to lack of listening to Stephen Fry's wonderful voice. They are still fairly ingrained in my brain. I've also read.
Don't remind me.
I've also read.
Funnily enough,
I've also read a fuck ton of Harry Potter fanfic, which obviously does cover most of the canonical aspects.
And is usually better.
Almost always better, from what I've seen. Yes. Then
Almost
again,
always,
God, I have
the operative word.
Okay, so no. I have a cousin who that was the first time I ever saw the really horrifying side of fan fiction. Is that cousin had a taste for Snape x Hermione.
What the fuck?
I mean,
I didn't even know that was a thing that existed, and then
she
just opened up the fanfiction page, and I was like,
oh no, there's so many. There's a whole group of fan fictions that ship Hermione with not only Snape, but Death Eaters. Actual Death Eaters. The people who are racists and hate her. Dramini is a thing.
But that's
bad. But
to be fair, they do ship Malfoy with everyone, though.
But that's
he literally has a TV tropes page.
That's a topic for the FanWorks podcast that we will eventually get to. Still on this first fucking chapter, by the way. Doesn't ask the Dursleys whether they are willing to take Harry. Just dumps him on the doorstep. Doesn't ask them at all.
To be fair, if he asked, they'd say no.
I mean, yes, but that's not the point. He's not acknowledging their desires at all.
But we've established Dumbledore does not care about anyone. Dumbledore does not ask for consent.
Also ignores McGonagall when McGonagall points out that they are awful, awful people and will surely abuse Harry, which they do. They spend the next 10 years abusing Harry verbally, mentally, and most likely physically at points.
Oh, not just most likely. They absolutely, if nothing else, the son beats the crap out of him on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm. The other thing to point out is that obviously teachers are trained to notice abuse.
Yeah, no.
It was the 90s.
Teachers, counselors, and other people who work with
they
children.
wouldn't have just told him to suck it up and be a man.
Not
or
even in the 90s, I don't think. In the 90s, they were still fairly aware of child abuse. They still would have at least pointed it out. Admittedly, it could be explained that obviously the Dursleys are seen as paragons of the community for some reason, but there's also the possibility that Dumbledore had to interfere there. Possibility. I'm not. We don't know. Obviously, here's the issue. I should have said this right at the start. The issue is that we are talking about a book series that started off as children's books. Books 1 and 2 are very much children's books, and so they have the
And they really should have stayed that way.
They really should have stayed that way. They really should have, but they
Hang
aren't.
Hang on, my dog is trying to eat my blanket.
Eat the blanket. Eat the blanket.
Yeah.
So many toys. Why must you eat the only thing that gives me warmth at night?
So while he's doing that, I will. Yeah, it's the first 2 books are children's books, and they have the variety of exaggerations that you would expect from a children's book, which includes people like the Dursleys. They have the tropes that you would expect from children's books, which includes characters like Snape and Dumbledore. The issue is that stuff does not fly when you start making the books like young adult to adult books. It doesn't fly. It doesn't work. They end up being horrible.
We haven't even
characters.
started on the Weasleys yet.
Oh, don't get me started on them yet, because we still got to discuss about how Hagrid was the second worst person Dumbledore could have picked to introduce Harry to the magic world. Second worst person.
At least he didn't send Filch.
After
Third worst.
I was going to say after Snape, right?
Snape and Filch are the first 2, yes. But Hagrid is still the third worst because he clearly, isn't interested in explaining much. And he listens to Dumbledore's every word. So if Dumbledore has told him, for example, not to let him, learn too much because a good sacrifice doesn't fight back, then, well, guess what's gonna happen?
To be fair, Hagrid isn't really evil. He's just kind
No.
dumb.
Hagrid is not evil. He is just he is uneducated and too trustworthy for his own.
He was expelled from school when he was
his own good. Yeah.
Okay, can we talk about how utterly stupid the wizard education system is?
I think we should save that for the end. That seems like an entire book thing. But okay, yes, we can discuss it.
Thing, yeah.
The next thing I want to bring up is the introduction of the Weasleys. So, Molly Weasley, who is, went to Hogwarts for 7 years, has how many kids? 7 kids, and took the first 2 to Hogwarts for 7 years.
I'm actually hang on. Let me count. The
Bill, Charlie, Percy, twins, Ron, Ginny is 7.
Okay, I always feel like I missed one even though I haven't.
But yeah, so 7 years for herself. Bill and Charlie have gone through all their years. The twins are in 3rd year. Percy is in his 5th year. And yet she's still shouting fairly loudly for Harry to be able to hear. What's the number of the platform again? Lots of muggles around.
To be fair, wizards as a whole seem to just...
Yes.
That's probably a side effect of their education system. They seem to have, like...
Oh, they're fucking idiots. People. They're fucking idiots.
Yes, okay.
And it infects even the... Actually, I'm gonna say this now. I hate the term Muggle.
It is.
It's incredibly insulting.
It's basically
incredibly insulting. So I'm gonna transition over to non-magical and first-generation wizards and witches, which I believe is a better term for non-magical people and witches and wizards who are the first in their family with magic. But yeah, the fact that she yells that, and in the year that Harry is there, it just seems suspicious to my incredibly
also
unwelcoming mind.
As horrible as Dumbledore is, I don't think it was intentional to not tell the boy how to get on the train.
Again,
I'm pretty sure that was just Hagrid.
It's one of these things where you take it on its own, and it's not suspicious at all. You take it with everything Dumbledore has done, sending him Hagrid, who, in their talk, specifically said that dark wizards all come from Slytherin. you introduce him to the Weasleys, the youngest boy of which is vehemently all dark wizards come from Slytherin. You add them up, and it again, it might be paranoia, but it adds up very badly.
No, I mean, in fairness, I don't think Dumbledore knew the Weasleys existed, or rather, really cared at all about the Weasleys until they intersected with his planning.
You say that, but again, I've read too much fan fiction, which is obviously colouring my view.
No,
because I have read more than a few
ideas,
fan fictions where Dumbledore has entirely done this.
Your ideas come from authors who are, at the end of the day, more competent than Rowling.
Yeah.
Say that like it's a high bar.
As I said, it feels suspicious to me that this happens. That Molly Weasley, who has been going to platform 9 3/4 for probably a good 20 years at this point, is still yelling, "What's the number of the platform? Look at all these muggles." But it's beside the point. He is introduced to Ron, who is an incredibly divisive character.
Mainly
Mainly,
He's a dick.
yes, because
Some fanfics actually make him a Death Eater.
yes, they do.
They don't even have to change much, honestly.
That's the thing about Ron, is you only have to put focus on his, let's be real, less endearing traits for a little bit, and he suddenly becomes a massive, massive dick. We will get more into it.
You know what Ron is? Ron is the average white kid in the 40s. Right?
Yeah.
Like, not even aware that he's a dick by modern standards and lacks the social awareness and empathy.
I mean, first things
Okay, maybe not even the 40s.
Yeah.
Honestly,
but yeah, let's just keep going through the first book. First things first. Ron is a fucking moron. He takes what is clearly a fake spell from his prankster brothers and thinks it's real.
Also, when we talk about this book, even in terms of soft magic systems, like this book's magic system is
awful.
Like instant noodles that have been
here's the thing, and
boiled for about 4 hours.
Yeah,
that's how soft and limp this magic system is.
Even
by those standards, it's awful.
Here's the thing about the magic system. As you said, it's a soft magic system, which means Rowling does not actually explain anything about the magic system. What she does is, whenever she needs a spell, she just comes up with it. And that creates massive, massive issues.
Oh, let's not
let's not get into the time turners, for instance.
No. We will get into time turners later.
Fire.
The big one for me is the fact that in book 4 they introduced the stunning spell. Now here's the thing. In book 3, the stunning spell would have been incredibly useful to, subdue the flight risk prisoner that they were carrying. No, they keep him unconscious, despite the fact that you've got 2 adult wizards there who, keep him conscious. Despite the fact that there are two competent wizards there who've gone through all 7 years at Hogwarts, yet apparently don't know the stunning spell.
One of them is competent, the other one is a dog.
I like Sirius. I'm not going to shit on him too much.
Yeah, but he had the most stupid death in the series.
That's Rowling's fault, not his.
Fair enough.
But anyway,
but also, you know what? We're
first book. So let's discuss the fact that Dumbledore.
No, I just want to say one more thing about the Pettigrew thing. Even with Snape, they just blasted him and knocked him the hell out. Why couldn't they not just hit Pettigrew on the head with a rock?
I don't know. Why didn't they break his legs?
Right? Like, it's not like they're nice people, and it's not like they have a reason to be nice to him, and it's not like you can't easily fix a pair of broken legs.
Exactly! Ron was in the hospital wing for like a day! Anyway.
You can regrow
I mean,
an entire armful of bones in
In a night, yeah. Anyway.
it is always good to take the Nora Valkyrie approach to disabling flight risks who are also monstrous murderers.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, Pettigrew didn't kill anyone himself. He's just a
No, he
cowardly
did.
traitor.
No, he did. He killed 12 people. Remember?
He didn't kill anyone with a name.
Blowing up and
himself.
killing 12 people.
He didn't kill anyone with a name himself.
Anyway, first book, let's discuss the fact that Dumbledore took a highly sought magical artifact and placed it in a school and then told the kids where it was. Because he says in his opening speech, do not go to the third floor corridor on the right, or otherwise, unless you want to suffer a painful death. Now, I don't know about you. I don't know about your schools. But in schools that I went to, that's tantamount to a welcome sign. Kids are curious. They will go and look.
So, like, on average, how many children do you think that dog ate?
I don't know. That's another dumb thing. Why would you have the first door open directly onto the fucking dog? Why would you not, like...
It's scared. Speaking of dogs, you have a toy, right? Literal chew toy. Yes, chew on the chew toy. Sorry.
Here's the other thing. That door to the, ferocious
also
Cerberus.
unlocked.
Yeah, well, no, it's locked in a way that a first-year unlocking spell can open it. Alohomora is literally one of the most basic spells we're ever told about in the Harry Potter universe, and it can unlock this door.
Learn, every magical door of import is warded against unlocking spells.
Exactly.
Not that one though.
Again, in the 5th book, it introduces the spell Colloportus, which basically seals the door to the doorframe. Why would you... And Alohomora doesn't work on it. Why would you not use that, for God's sake?
Because Rowling wasn't thinking of that.
No,
obviously.
she was not, because she's dumb.
There's a lot of Potterheads out there who's like, oh my God, she's a master of plotting. She thought everything ahead so far. I'm like, have you read the books?
Yeah.
This is something that I don't understand.
Mm.
I've met a lot of otherwise very reasonable, intelligent adults who absolutely go apeshit over Harry Potter and will beat you half to death with spoon if you so much as say a single criticism towards it.
Well, we're going to be on the run from those people because we are not stopping.
No, we're not. But
so,
yes, it's very awkward.
Yeah.
And those people are otherwise your friends, and you get along well, and then the topic of Harry Potter comes up, and you're like, oh.
So,
no.
so let's discuss Professor Severus Snape's very first lesson with Harry, in which he singles him out for treatment, calling him a celebrity. Proceeds to ask him 3 questions, which we don't know where in the curriculum they are, but
they're implied to be 5th year.
They are implied to be later on. And gets angry when Harry doesn't know the answer, despite the fact he doesn't ask anyone else for the answer. He just then explains it. He then stalks around, not actually... Here's the thing about Snape's teaching style. He doesn't teach anything.
Hermione, by the way. Also a dick to Hermione.
Oh, no, we will get to him being a dick to Hermione. But...
Which is clearly a sign of love to some people.
Yes. But he doesn't teach. All he does is say the instructions are on the board and then stalks around putting pressure on the more nervous students, most of which are not in his house, because they know he's going to protect them, because he's a biased dick. At the end of the lesson, when Neville screws up his potion because he has said nervous student that Snape is pressuring, Snape blames Harry for not seeing what was happening, despite the fact that he's the fucking teacher.
The fucking hell?
Also, I don't even know why he singles out Neville so much, but it's to the point that Neville literally develops PTSD.
Here's the thing: we will get more onto this in the third book. But when a teacher is a student's greatest fear, maybe you should look into that a bit. Maybe you should. But that's beside the point. Snape is a huge dick, and we will continue to discuss him.
This is a contextual thing that I'm sad that I'm the only person who's gonna get it, even though Mill has one foot in the door. You know what this is very similar to?
Go on.
Janja, but unintentional.
Janja.
Let me elaborate. The genre the cradle belongs to.
Oh, right, okay.
The magical martial arts genre.
Yeah.
So, let me explain a trope. In that, the sects and schools explicitly encourage, like in most of the typical ones, like the trope is that the sects and schools encourage fierce infighting to the point of crippling and death between students and even between students and teachers as through a survival of the fittest mentality.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Hogwarts is, except unintentionally on Rowling's part.
Yeah.
It's like, the purpose of these places is not to learn. The purpose of these places is for the weak to be culled. That is what, like, the vibes that Snape, and, like, Hogwarts in general gives me.
But yeah, so...
Let's be real. There are decent teachers, but even they're idiots. But, like, let's either malicious or idiots.
Let's get on to some of the shitter teachers, because you've also got Professor Binns, who teaches history and magic. Now, as a history student, I see history as one of, if not the most important subject you can learn, because as I don't remember who said the fucking quote, because it's frankly irrelevant, but those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it, as the wizarding world has shown many, many times.
Well, yeah, they have like an evil wizard dictator rise up every century, like clockwork.
Every 20 or so years, yeah. It's a surprise. It's a surprise any of them are still alive, frankly. But yeah. It's a ghost. So
all wizards are idiots, including the evil ones.
Yeah. So Binns is a ghost who is so boring he puts like 90% of the class to sleep. Now here's the conspiracy theory that a lot of Dumbledore bashing fan fictions have come up with.
It's intentional.
Well, there's
on Dumbledore's part.
There's the idea that it's intentional on Dumbledore's part, so that nobody learns history. There's also the one where he doesn't fire Binns because it saves him paying another salary. Because how are you going to give money to a ghost?
What's funny is that despite the fact that those two are on opposite spectrums of conspiracy theory, I could see
they're both equally likely, yeah. They're both equally likely.
I both could be true at the same time.
I mean, yes, they absolutely could, and very well maybe. We don't know. But I certainly...
I don't think Rowling knows either.
I believe the salary one, frankly. It might not be Dumbledore. It might not be Dumbledore, it might be the board of directors, but somebody doesn't want to pay the history teacher's salary.
How much do they even get paid?
I don't know.
Also, it's like teaching position. So okay. Let's talk about the structure a little bit. This is, as far as we know, the only magical school in the United Kingdom.
Yep.
And each subject has one teacher who teaches 7 years worth of students.
Yep.
In multiple batches.
Yep.
That is extremely wow.
And also, it's basic, with the exception, sometimes with the exception of Defense Against the Dark Arts, it's basically the only way to quit is when you die, and sometimes not even then.
Mm-hmm.
Have we ever seen a non-Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, like, retires?
Nope, they all stay through Harry's 7 years.
No, the magical creatures teacher.
Oh, magical creatures teacher. Yeah, because he wanted to enjoy life with his remaining limbs. That is the explicit reason that is given.
So yeah, very relevant with respect to the current labor protests going on. Why have they not unionized?
Because they all think the sun shines out of Dumbledore's arse.
Like, this was apparently the system long before Dumbledore was around, so like...
Because there's always been a wizard people think the sun shines from their arse. And none of them thought to unionize. Anyway,
speaking of unions... oh, never mind. We'll talk about the house elves later.
We will talk about the house elves at the end. This is going to go for more than 2 hours, I'm going to say right now.
I am actually good with that today, because my parents are out of town, so I can go all night.
I'm happy going.
I'm
happy going as long as it's necessary, frankly. So
yes,
let's discuss.
This is one of those things that it's best to get it off our chest as quickly as possible.
Let's discuss the third terrible teacher from this book, Professor Quirrell, who stutters every 5 seconds.
Is that his first name?
Quirrell.
Yes.
Yes.
Huh.
I think it's Latin or some shit.
It's Rowling trying to be clever with alliteration. Because look at other teachers. You've got Severus Snape. You've got Minerva McGonagall, Phileas Flitwick. It's
also the herbology teacher's name is Professor Sprout.
Pomona Sprout, yeah. And
yes, very on the, or like very subtle.
Also, two of the founders, Helga Hufflepuff and Rowena Ravenclaw.
No, all of the founders.
Oh God,
Godric
yes.
Gryffindor.
Godric Gryffindor
and
Salazar Slytherin. God, I wasn't even thinking. For some reason, I thought Gryffindor's last name started with a H. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, Quirrell is a terrible teacher. Absolutely horrific by the sounds of things, because he stutters every 5 seconds. And well, look, people with a stutter are as valid as the next person, but you don't put them in a position to teach. All public speak, really.
Or give him a laptop and a projector. Just let him make PowerPoints.
Yeah.
Just let him make PowerPoints and do a few takes on it.
There's also
the problem is all the wizards in Harry Potter suck with technology.
It's not that they suck with technology. They're so stupid that it doesn't even occur to them that technology has advantages. So the wizards in Harry Potter are some of the most universally arrogant factions in all of fiction.
Well, I mean, when Hermione takes I'm renaming it to non-magical studies, because I don't like that word still, but non-magical studies. She notes that it still thinks they're pre-World War II, or they think the Muggles are pre-World War II. At the very least,
this is some Luddite shit.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. Apparently, technology doesn't work around magic. Now here's where that's stupid, because they've got Diagon Alley, which is surrounded by non-magical buildings. They've got the Ministry of Magic, which is right underneath non-magical London. They've got the hospital, which is situated in non-magical London, and no electronics seem to fail there.
I believe they were talking about appliances specifically.
I still doubt it. You can't.
Fair enough.
It's still close enough that I think electricity would. If electricity fails around magic, it would have to fail with how much magic happens in Diagon Alley and the Ministry of Magic.
Hospital alone.
Then the hospital.
The hospital alone.
Yeah. Like, the other thing is, it could be Hogwarts Vaunted Wards, but I'm gonna get onto Hogwarts Vaunted Wards because they're a pile of shit.
They really are. Bunch of fifth years were able to breach them.
Yep.
Literal children reached those wards.
Yeah. So, in terms of other stuff in the first book, so we get the first instance of Ron being a complete dick because Hermione simply tries to help him and he lashes out at her. And we get no indication that he actually apologizes to her, by the way.
Oh, he doesn't. Ron, I actually...
I honestly
instances in the series where he kind of half apologizes and they're treated as these monumental things.
I honestly believe
that says a lot about the character.
I honestly believe that Ron and Draco Malfoy are two sides of the same coin.
Malfoy is Ron if he was rich. That's literally the only difference between them. Ron grew up poor with lots of older brothers and a single older sister, whereas Malfoy grew up as the spoiled only child.
So
in a rich family.
Isn't Ginny younger than Ron?
Yes, but she's the only girl, and so she was very much favored over the rest of them. Because
as we've said, wizarding values stuck in I don't even know when.
Victorian, early Victorian era at best. Anyway, let's discuss the troll incident. So, Quirrell brings
Trolls in the dungeon. I thought you should know.
Quirrell brings in the troll, announces it, and then collapses as a plan to go after the Philosopher's Stone in the third floor corridor. How did Dumbledore not know it was Quirrell?
I mean, we can assume that he knew and he just didn't give a crap.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. I've just remembered this one, actually. Again, it's mentioned in a fanfiction. So the troll is supposedly in the dungeons, right? Where does Dumbledore send all the kids? To their common rooms.
Oh.
Where are the Slytherin common rooms and the Hufflepuff common rooms?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that.
In the dungeons.
Half the kids in the dungeons.
Yeah.
Okay, can we talk about how half the children live in the dungeons?
In fairness, I've seen a quite hilarious thing that it was because of the fucking stairs. Apparently Ravenclaw came up with the changing staircases, and Hufflepuff went, well, I don't want my children to die on these stairs, so they're gonna live on the bottom floor. And Slytherin
Gryffindor's like...
Meanwhile, Gryffindor is like, parkour. Yeah, parkour, basically. Anyway, that's...
I do love how the four different houses can be broken down into stereotypes of smart, brave but stupid, cunning but evil, and nice.
That's the other thing. I mean, we'll obviously get onto this after we've finished all the books, but dividing up children, 11-year-old children, based on their prominent traits is so fucking stupid. Because I was a different person as like a 13 or 14-year-old, let alone a 17 or 18-year-old. I was a significantly different person.
Can we just talk about how I honestly do not at all resent the Sorting Hat's dickery?
Oh no, Sorting Hat is great. He has nothing to do.
He's like, I feel sorry for the thing.
Here's the other thing. If they really didn't want to fucking pay a history teacher, why not get the Sorting Hat, which has literally been around for 1,000 years? Why not get it to do it?
And in fact, the Sorting Hat is apparently nothing particularly special. There's probably no small number of it. Hell, some of those paintings have probably been around for thousands of years.
The other ghosts. You have the daughter of Rowena Ravenclaw. Why would you not have her teach history?
I believe we've been over this as the reason is they are idiots or greedy assholes.
Here's the other thing. The students that we hear get sorted in Harry's first year, a lot of them don't get sorted where they should.
Oh,
Who are you talking specifically?
Well, specifically, Crabbe and Goyle. They have not a single iota of cunning
Well, they're
or
evil.
ambition. They
But they are evil.
show the only trait they show throughout the entire 7-book run is loyalty. So really, they should be in Hufflepuff. Malfoy.
Not even.
Malfoy
I mean,
shows no sign of cunning or ambition, but he does show a tremendous lack of charging in like a fucking idiot. So he should be in Gryffindor. Ron has a remarkable amount of ambition. He should be in Slytherin, as should Harry, really.
like, what do you want to bet? Sorting Hat has a quota, and he kind of just dicks around. For
I mean,
most of
yes,
the kids.
100%. He has a quota because he's got to make the houses bloody equal. Neville probably should have been in Hufflepuff first year. Later books, yeah, he becomes super brave, but in first year, no.
And also,
Hufflepuff.
the actor is jacked now.
The actor is very hot. But yeah, like the fucking sorting is dumb as fuck. As much as I love, I mean, there was one fan fiction that I read that I think has been deleted since, where the Sorting Hat is Harry's advisor during the Goblet of Fire tournament, and it's fucking great because he's just a snarky asshole. He's just a snarky asshole.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
fantastic.
Now I think about it, even if it's like, what is it? The tournament is every 20 years, 50 years.
I don't fucking know. I think it's supposed to be like every 4 years, but got cancelled because people died.
Ah, right. Forgot about that.
Lots and lots
no.
of people died, so they
Even if
cancelled
it
the tournament.
rotates, even if it rotates, then at the very least, every couple of decades, the Sorting Hat's probably seen hundreds of them. Why is he not just the guy in charge? Why is the Sorting Hat not the headmaster of Hogwarts?
I don't know. He would make such a good headmaster.
He's basically the single most qualified.
He doesn't have hands to do the paperwork. He doesn't have hands to do the paperwork.
Ooh,
Actually, no,
that's
that's not true, because there are things like the Quick Quotes Quill and the Dicta Quill that he could just use. He could just, like, dictate what he's doing to this one quill, and that would be that.
He could just get, like, a service ogre or something.
Service ogre. Anyway, let's continue book 1. So, Quirrell tries to kill Harry in the Quidditch match. Nothing is done. Nothing. The only thing that happens is Dumbledore shows up to the next Quidditch match.
Wow.
Quirrell still walks free. There is
also, what's funny is that somehow, by sheer dumb luck, they end up not killing Harry while they're accidentally setting the only person in the way of Quirrell on fire. Remember, they set Snape's butt on fire because they thought Snape was doing the thing.
Yeah.
Except Snape was actually reciting the counter curse. Also, this whole long recitation of spells.
Yeah,
like
it never
shows up again.
Never appears again. Never appears again. So let's talk about. So we can assume, based on the fact that Dumbledore trusts Snape implicitly to the point of sheer dumbassery, and the fact that Snape is, trying to stop Quirrell from going for the stone, we can assume that Dumbledore put Snape up to that. Snape's literally only tactic to stop Quirrell from stealing the stone is to try and bully Quirrell into stopping. He doesn't do anything else. He just bullies him.
I mean, like, has it occurred to you that Snape doesn't actually know how to do anything else?
I mean, very, very, very true.
Like, he is basically an idiot. He is an incel neckbeard on one of those subreddits.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to... If there is anyone... if there is still any Snape fans in the audience who haven't turned off at this point, which I would be surprised if there were, but if there are, I want to ask you a question. Do you actually like Snape, or do you like Alan Rickman? Because there is a distinct difference. I love Alan Rickman, and his portrayal of Snape is probably the only thing that makes the character palatable in my mind. In the books, he's just a fucking dick. If you don't... I mean, like 90% of the people who like Snape like Alan Rickman. That is the proportion. The other 10% are just the people who like him being a petty dick. What else is there in book 1 that we haven't discussed? The Mirror of Erised, Dumbledore just leaves lying around.
Also, yeah, can we just talk about the fact that... So, we've touched on the fact that the magic system is non-existent, and Rowling makes it up as she goes along. Apparently, these sorts of really profound mystical artifacts are dirt cheap and common, and yet at no point do they, like, use them for anything. They literally exist to exist.
Yeah. I mean, let's also point out that Dumbledore gives Harry the invisibility cloak either too soon or not too soon, either too late or shouldn't have given it at all. Too late because it's Harry's possession, yet Dumbledore kept it for 10 years. Or not at all. You don't give the kid who is in extreme danger from the servant of Voldemort you suspect is in the castle a cloak that allows him to wander around at night unnoticed.
Also, can we just talk about the fact that this invisibility cloak is also apparently one of the most profoundly magical items in existence, and yet no one notices that it's any different from any other invisibility cloak, even though apparently the quality of others is just worse in every way.
Yeah.
Also, how do you stop from losing the damn thing, since it's,
also, no.
invisible?
It I think it turns
invisible. Cloak isn't invisible.
The cloak itself is invisible. I think it turns invisible whenever there's somebody wearing it. The thing I want to point out is that Dumbledore is able to see Harry under it, despite the fact that it's apparently the true cloak of invisibility.
To be fair, Rowling did not know that at this point.
I know, but it makes me wonder if Dumbledore just stuck a tracking spell on it.
So, no. What I'm wondering is, did he just, like, go there every night after giving the cloak and just randomly throw the question out there to the void?
Yes.
Just waited for a few minutes.
100% he did that.
And it was like, well, not tonight,
idiot.
I guess.
He's a fucking idiot. So let's get back to, well. Let's get to the.
There's another thing about the invisibility cloak. Mm-hmm. For a legendary item that's supposed to allow you to sneak past anything, it's basically useless because it doesn't do anything except make you invisible.
Yeah, it doesn't cover scent or noise.
And, like, it doesn't prevent you from bumping into people.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't prevent things behind you from, like, it's, like, very, very easy to get around if, they weren't idiots.
Here's the other thing. They learned the silencing spell in, 5th year, I believe it is? Something like that. And Harry never uses it to silence his shoes so that they don't make noise.
That would require people to actually pay attention.
Anyway, next bit in the book. So apparently the only thing stopping Quirrell from going after the stone is the fact that he doesn't know how to get past the Cerberus Fluffy. Hagrid knows how to get past the Cerberus Fluffy, and Voldemort is apparently a master Legilimens, which is basically mind reader. Fuck you, Snape. It's mind reading. So does Hagrid know occlumency, which is the counter discipline? Because I've read a hilarious fan fiction where after Snape chucks Harry out from occlumency lessons, he goes to Hagrid instead.
That sounds like a hilarious premise.
To be fair, legitimacy is explicitly like a magic that requires spell casting, and Hagrid's basically immune to spell casting.
Yes. I still prefer to think that Hagrid is actually a master occlument.
Also,
it's just funnier that way.
He might just be a bit of a savant in that regard.
I find it funnier that Hagrid has just filled his mindscape with all these dangerous creatures that he loves. And I wish he taught Harry to do the same, because the end result of that fan fiction is at the end of book 5, when Voldemort tries to get into Harry's mind, he, gets the shit kicked out of him by all these dangerous creatures, and then Harry takes him out by smashing a brick on his head.
Why don't wizards just use guns on each other? Seriously.
They actually really, at no point in the series do we see wizards having a defense for... Because remember, their passive defenses are shit.
Yeah.
Right? Even, enchanted gear is, hilariously low level. And I'm pretty sure you just pull out the AK and they don't last longer than a few seconds.
Yeah. Anyway,
the wizards in this setting are hilariously
spells have travel time.
Bullets don't have that much of a travel time.
No. The thing about spells having travel time is you can literally just move out of the way of them if you're just have a basic level of physical fitness. That's how slow they are.
Here's the thing, wizards don't. Wizards are fat, lazy bastards. Anyway, keeping on with book 1, we're nearly to the end. Who the fuck thought it was a good idea to set a detention in the Forbidden Forest at night, going after something that killed a unicorn? Who? Who the fuck thought that? Because here's the thing, as much as we, laugh at Hagrid putting Malfoy down for saying he's going to tell his parents and they'll be upset, they have a right to be upset. They have a distinct right to be upset. You're not allowed in the
Dad is still on the board of directors at this point.
No, you're not allowed in the Forbidden Forest. Why are you sending kids in there for detention? Why are you sending them after something that can kill a unicorn and is sucking its blood with only a cowardly dog for company?
To be fair, dog has somehow... I forgot the dog existed until you said this.
But
the dog has somehow survived in close vicinity to Hagrid,
and his
who
cooking.
Is not the and his cooking, who is not the safest person to be around. I'm guessing, is it possible that the dog is just the actual person in charge of the groundskeeping, and Hagrid just kind of dicks around all day, breeding dangerous creatures?
Very possible. I've just remembered a line from the Hagrid Occlumens fic, which is utterly hilarious, which is, Harry goes something like, isn't occlumency supposed to be a really subtle discipline? And Hagrid goes, subtle? There's nobody subtler than old Hagrid, as he squashes his salt shaker with his fist, slamming it on the table.
That is just something very in character, honestly.
It is.
Something fuck subtle.
Yeah. So, last few issues in this book, Dumbledore apparently gets on a broom to go to the Ministry of Magic. Why?
Can't you teleport?
Yes. He can apparate, which we know he can do because he did it at the start of the book. He can use portkeys. He's got the flu. He's got a fucking magic firebird that can transport him anywhere.
It is... faster than basically any broom on the market, which apparently the brooms on the market are kind of shit.
He could have also, taken a Thestral. Those also existed. But no, he got on a broom. Why? other than to
Also, I'm pretty sure he can fly. It's like implied.
No, I don't think he can fly. Voldemort can fly.
Yeah, but like he's like 125 years old. He should have figured it out by now.
I mean, yes, he should have. But yeah,
like it's
so
like.
but anyway,
Also, you know what? That's a good point. Why was it that after like literally millennia of literal magic, where they can bend the fabric of reality to their will, no one figured out flying until the early 2000s? And it was Space Hitler. Wizard Hitler.
Wizards are lazy.
But then how are they still? How do they still have a civilization? Is my question.
I don't know.
They really shouldn't at this point. Like,
anyway,
I mean,
not even from external enemies. Like, the wizards should have gone extinct from sheer stupidity by this point.
Anyway,
Fuzzy, I think we had chalked this up to Rowling just being a terrible writer.
yeah, the world building in Harry Potter is awful. It is god awful. Anyway,
Supplementary material and like some of the things written by non-Rowling people are infinitely better than Rowling's world building.
No, in hindsight, it was a mistake to let her write the spin-offs and sequels.
Anyway,
It was a mistake to let her write the series. The editors should have like looked at the first book and like, all right, now you just take these royalties. We'll get a ghostwriter here.
Anyway,
competent.
End of the book. So, first of all, the obstacles in the way between the person and the Philosopher's Stone are laughably terrible. So, first you've got Fluffy, which is a Cerberus with a weakness. Why? I mean, I'm honestly surprised Voldemort didn't just like death curse that thing.
Yes.
Why wouldn't he?
Why not just murder it?
Then you've got the Devil's Snare, which is a first-year plant with a distinct weakness.
And also, apparently, like, if people learn how to shoot fire, that's like the first thing kids learn. Shoot fire out of their butt.
You've got flying.
Literally all you need to do.
You've got flying keys. The summoning charm exists.
Well, okay, that one you can make an argument that the keys are warded, but yes, it's also dumb.
I mean, why wouldn't he just blast the door down?
Yeah, no.
And then blast his way through the chessboard.
Honestly, only like, I hate to say it, but Snape's puzzle is kind of the only one that.
No. It's not though. It's not though. Why would you?
Because it has a solution.
Yeah. Why would you put the solution there? And two, flame freezing spell does exist. I'm fairly sure.
Also, why not just say there's a solution and then just make all of the bottles poison?
Exactly. Why?
Like
yeah,
it would
take
make
the,
sense. Okay,
take the Dread Pirate Roberts approach to the Poison Chalice challenge.
Mm-hmm.
No. You know what I'm thinking? I think Rowling, in the process of writing, got her wires crossed, and she forgot that this was supposed to be a vault, and thought it was like some sort of worthy successor trial. Like, I think she literally just forgot that it wasn't supposed to be possible to get to the stone.
Yeah, and the final challenge, which was the Mirror of Erised, where you couldn't get the stone if you wanted to use it. Why couldn't Quirrell get it? Because he didn't want to use it. He wanted to give it to Voldemort.
Also, there's apparently a mystical mirror dimension that only shows up in this one scene.
Yeah.
Like, apparently it's possible to stick something in a mirror and then have your reflection put it in their, like, effect. Like, this is literally godlike reality warping, and they use it for a rock.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like, but yeah, Quirrell should have been able to get the stone, in my opinion, because because he wanted the stone, but he didn't want to use it, which is what Dumbledore said. He wanted to give it to Voldemort, admittedly, who wanted to use it, but I don't think that should be the same thing.
To be fair,
Because surely Harry wanted to get the stone and, maybe give it back to its original owner, who would use it.
well, here's the thing. I have to assume that Charles just agreed a little dick waffle and wanted to use it for himself as well.
Very
He
possible.
assumed that he was arrogant enough to assume that he was not being completely used as a tool by Voldy.
Very possible. Here's the other thing. The Flamels are, 700 years old? Something like that?
Thereabouts.
Do you wonder if they actually gave Dumbledore a real stone? Maybe they just gave him a fake. Because they've been protecting it for 700 years. Why would they be scared of one wraith?
So here's another thing, though. Why would he not make another one?
That's the other thing. Why not?
He is literally the only person on the planet who knows how to make it, and this thing that can... Let's not focus on the eternal life thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it can heal all wounds and injuries, you couldn't, just give a supply to a hospital or, teach it to a doctor or something? How to make it? You have to destroy it?
It's pretty fucking
Yeah.
broken.
Oh, yeah! They explicitly destroyed it at the end. Because it's yes, let's not give anyone eternal life.
Again, that's the thing. I don't think they gave Dumbledore the real stone. I'm 100% sure they didn't give it to him. Because, again, let's be real. If I've seen one very, very fun story where the Flamels are actually older than the 500 or 700 that they stated to be in the canon. And they just occasionally fake their deaths and change their names so that nobody comes after them. And, again, they say, why the fuck would we give the stone to Dumbledore? We gave him a fake. We're not sure why he bought that whole, oh yes, we are definitely going to destroy the stone and then pass on peacefully. Yes.
Harry Potter's story and as a setting is
very,
very easy to unravel with just a moment of contemplation.
We've spent an hour basically picking apart the first book.
We might have to split this episode up. No, we are spending exactly as much time as we need, but we're just probably gonna have to.
We'll see what happens. Because we're about done with the first book. The last thing I want to mention is that Dumbledore ignores any and all trauma Harry might have from, killing a man.
Oh yeah, Harry inadvertently murdered.
Very, very up close and personal and
brutal.
Gruesome and brutal. He literally basically burned him to death with
his hands.
Metal.
Yes. So yeah, ignores all that trauma, gives him some points, and sticks him back to the abusive Dursleys.
Oh yes, 10 points to Gryffindor.
Well, I think 60 points in this instance, but still.
The meme will never stop or die.
Also, can we just talk about the fact that the whole is a complete sham, and the only reason it's even slightly fair is because the other teachers are idiots who actually give points based on merit, whereas Snape just gives people points for breathing.
Yep. Well, takes points for breathing as well.
So does Dumbledore, though. Doesn't he arbitrarily give points to Gryffindor for
every year that every year that the House Cup comes up after Harry arrives, Dumbledore just arbitrarily gives them exactly. He's even such a dick about it that he very specifically keeps them in suspense.
Yeah, he does it right at the last second.
He's doing it completely arbitrarily.
Yeah.
And he's Well, I could just give one person all of the points,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna make.
Here's the other thing, though. Here's the other thing. I've just remembered this because I'm going through the frankly essay that a fanfiction writer wrote, poking all of the holes in Harry Potter. It's a very good essay, and I will actually post the link to it in the chat, and I'll put it in the description of the YouTube video once I get there. But in Goblet of Fire, Dumbledore uses an age line to stop anyone under 17 from putting their name in the Goblet of Fire. Why didn't he put an age line around the door to the third floor corridor?
Because Rowling came up with a spell on the spot for the book 4, and
I mean,
really
yes, we know that, but still,
the retroactive implications.
I'm partially saying some of this stuff where I know it's because Rowling is a fucking idiot who didn't plan ahead for anything. I'm saying it to tear down Dumbledore's reputation. Anyway, that's all I've got for the first book. So second book, I'm gonna try and get through this. A little bit quicker. Big thing. Dumbledore doesn't figure out that the monster is a basilisk. He has had 50, 60, 50 years to ponder this, and a 13-year-old girl figures it out first.
But, probably did figure it out and just didn't bother telling anyone as well. That's also not out of the question.
Here's the other thing. He's the headmaster, which means he controls the house elves. Assumedly, the ghosts listen to him, and assumedly the portraits listen to him. How the fuck does he not know that Ginny is the one doing this?
Again, my assumption for a lot of these is just that he knows and he just doesn't bother.
Again, that really paints a horrible picture of Dumbledore, though. Because...
I mean, it's is that particularly unusual?
I mean, the other thing that is, horrible that Dumbledore did is he let the Muggle-born students that got petrified stay petrified for the entire school year.
Wow.
Surely, there are adult mandrakes somewhere that he could buy and turn into this unpetrifying solution. Surely.
I mean, even in that context, he basically, it's later shown that you can basically just dick around and find something. Right? Find already existing potions and stuff.
Exactly.
Right? You think that something as important and life-saving as a petrifying, which is, remember, in mythology, there's a lot of things that can petrify you, so you have to assume that this is not the only thing. Right?
Well, no, I'm fairly sure there are other things that can petrify. There are none as fitting for the champion of Salazar Slytherin as the King of Snakes.
In mythology, basilisks were not snakes, but that's beside the point.
Well, no, some basilisks were snakes.
Yes.
It's kind of a thing where people never really made a distinction between basilisks and cockatrices, and this is a bit too nerdy.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
Interesting note because I read this. Interesting note because I read this recently. There was apparently a Roman story about a basilisk where a soldier on a horse stabbed a basilisk. Not only
the poison.
The poison apparently ran up the spear, killed the rider and the horse, which seems unlikely, but hilarious nonetheless. Anyway,
assuming it was like a transdermal poison, it's not impossible.
Not impossible, but
just unlikely.
Yeah. So we mentioned Hogwarts' vaunted wards previously. They let a Horcrux in.
I mean,
They let a
They let a
Horcrux
lot
just
of things in.
run rampant the entire year. He also hired.
What are the chances that they just didn't think that far ahead?
Very possible, but again,
They just didn't
it's
realize.
again. Here's the thing: like Hogwarts is apparently seen as the safest place on Earth, and yet all this shit is happening. Genuinely, they call it the safest place on Earth at multiple points.
That's like that's
Sorry.
well. I mean, if you think about it in the sense that the world is just a crapsack world in general.
I mean, yeah, but just look at how much danger Harry gets into in 6 years in that school. Look at how much, like, if you look at the supplementary material that goes through the history of Hogwarts, so much bad shit happens in just the 10 years before Harry attends Hogwarts.
Wait, really?
Students died.
Yes, but like specifically, what are we saying?
I don't remember exactly what it was, but apparently there's like this hidden puzzle room, and a student died trying to figure it out with a group of other students.
Okay, but like this is apparently just a regular occurrence, huh?
I'll try and get it up because I remember I remember what I was doing at the time because I was researching Dumbledore being the chief warlock of the Wizengamot. The Wizengamot, which is horribly explained.
What is that, by the way?
The Wizengamot is basically the wizarding government, I think, like wizarding parliament, maybe. One Halloween, the school came under attack by a pack of werewolves.
What?
Qua.
Huh.
What else is there?
They can just do that?
Apparently so.
Huh.
I'd
Also-
like this is stuff that I think happened in the fucking mobile game, and so to make it interesting, you obviously had to do like weird stuff. But again,
Hold on. There's a fucking mobile game?
There's
Yes.
several.
yes.
Why?
Oh, it's not just that. On release of the mobile game, you know how mobile games do that thing where they like give you just enough to get you hooked, right?
Oh no.
Guess where the mobile game's paywall was.
Oh
A screen
no.
in which your character that you spent a while creating is being strangled to death by Devil Snare unless you wait like 12 hours or pay.
Oh, it's one of those
Yeah.
pay-to-play
Yes,
things.
it's very much like you get energy to do stuff. But yes, they literally force you to stay on a screen where
Okay,
the 11-year-old child that represents you is being strangled for like 12 hours.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Apparently, a cursed vault was found, which released curses. At one point, cursed ice began to appear and spread throughout the castle, turning rooms into crystalline prisons and threatening to encase the whole school, severely injuring several students in the process. A sleepwalking curse was also unleashed, placing students in a deep slumber and causing them to wander off into the forbidden forest in the direction of one of the vaults, where those whom the staff failed to stop were, due to their condition and inability to defend themselves, ravaged or some even outright devoured. Students got
Potentially also
devoured.
raped by centaurs. And like, let's not talk about how the centaurs just like are heavily implied to just sexually assault people on a regular basis.
Anyway, book 2.
But, you know.
Book 2. So he hired Lockhart, and on the basis that he couldn't even teach a second year class anything, how the fuck did the 5th and 7th years pass their exams?
Don't know, but Lockhart is extremely sketchy in all the grossest ways.
Yeah,
I mean,
here's the thing:
it's like
the only
almost
spell,
outright stated that he just roofied and
yeah,
like sexually assaulted people.
yeah.
It's
Oh
like,
no,
almost
100%,
outright stated.
100%. What else is there from book 2 that I remember? Snape is just as terrible in this book. Um, he tries and fails to figure out what's attacking people. We can assume, and does even more miserably than most of the teachers because his suspect was Harry. Um, he teaches Malfoy a ridiculously.
Which, okay, can we just talk about the fact that why would he suspect Harry?
Because he's a
Like,
fucking biased moron.
No, but like, no, but like, even then, it's like, what does Harry have to gain?
I mean, what does Snape have to gain?
No, I mean, like, I'm explaining myself poorly, but basically the idea is there are so many.
Oh, right. What does Harry have
reasons-
to gain from actually, being the one doing this?
Yes, yes.
I don't know.
like,
He's just a biased idiot.
Literally, it's just like.
So what else is there? He teaches Malfoy a ridiculously dangerous spell that summons a, by the looks of things, deadly snake, and would have been culpable had the snake actually hurt anyone. In doing so, he also consciously furthered an already heated rivalry, continued to alienate Harry with his terrible behaviour. Admittedly, he brewed the Mandrake potion at the end of the year, but again, he was also somebody who did not realise that other places might have mature Mandrakes already, and therefore reduced the time that some of these students were petrified. Colin Creevey, the first student petrified, is literally petrified for from about November onwards. He misses Christmas. What the fuck did they tell his parents if they told them anything?
I mean, they must have just, like. I'm sure they just got a phone to do stuff or something. Right? Like, they've got those, haven't they?
Yeah.
Remember, his parents were not wizards.
I know, and that's why I'm saying if they told them anything at all. So he is apparently the chief warlock of the Wizengamot, which is head of the Wizarding government. He is also the supreme mugwump of the International Confederation of Wizards, which is apparently like the UN but for wizards.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure that was just Rowling just making stuff up for fun.
I mean, yes.
Funny words for children.
Oh,
That's
100%.
literally that.
It would not be the first time.
100%. But either way, he still has these roles from the first book onwards. And yet he allows Hagrid to be sent to Wizarding Prison without a trial.
Not just Wizarding Prison, Wizard Guantanamo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wizard Alcatraz.
Like
remember, this is a prison where, you know what? You gotta give it to them. At least they don't let the really dickish criminals off easy. But has it occurred to you that perhaps the torture prison is not where you send, I don't know, civil offenders?
Well, here's the thing. The justice system is clearly so incompetent because A, they send Hagrid there, and B, they send Sirius there, neither of whom get, dosed with Veritaserum, the truth potion.
Right.
There is no reason for wizards to have any false convictions because they have a potion that can force you to tell the truth.
You could make an argument that, if you do memory manipulation stuff, you can get around that.
Fair.
Even then, though, that makes it really hard to actually get a false conviction, considering how isn't memory manipulation like forbidden shit?
Not really, no.
Not really. It should be,
Oh,
but it's
never
not
mind then.
really.
It's one of those things where it should be, but
I mean, the Wizarding government
Wizards
seems to wipe the memory of non-magicals on a daily basis.
they have to because wizards are idiots who don't know how to
Blend in.
like. Yeah, no. They're like
London?
it's just.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
It just.
Yeah. The last thing, honestly, this there's not much in this book for me to nitpick. It is actually a half decent book. The whole story of beyond, Dumbledore. Being
It
a
is
fucking
like
idiot.
you say that there's not much to nitpick, but we did spend an hour nitpicking it.
No. This is second book. We only spent about 15 minutes nitpicking this one.
Oh, you know what? Fair enough. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So again, in a world with truth-telling potions, he still has his pensive that take out memories and view them. He still lets
Also,
Lu-
it's implied
Lucius-
that taking out memories doesn't actually remove the memory.
Yeah, but but even with all that, he still lets Lucius Malfoy get away with sicking teenage Voldemort on Hogwarts.
Oh, right! Oh, yeah. Let's talk about Lucius Malfoy and all of the Death Eaters who got away with war crimes on the excuse of, well, like, mind-controlled, so... Even though they were just, like, they were explicitly, like, they not really tested. They basically just took their word for it.
They bribed their way out. In fairness, the Wizarding government is incredibly corrupt by the sounds of things, so...
So that's one thing they have in common with the Muggles.
Yeah.
But,
But yeah, even
using
then,
that word.
I feel like, just like letting Lucius Malfoy get away with this. And here's the other thing. Lucius Malfoy sets a teenage Voldemort with frankly, the magical version of a weapon of mass destruction onto the school that his son attends. That boy also ain't bright. Because here's the thing.
Fair.
Imagine what would happen if that basilisk had just gone through the doors of the Great Hall while a meal was on.
Oh, that'd be a bloodbath.
Well,
Yeah.
you have to assume that, like, they at least, the more competent wizards would just nuke the thing, right? Like, if a 12-year-old with a sword could kill it, I'm sure it's not as tough as they made it out to be. Right?
Yeah. Either way, there is a very entertaining fan fiction involving that idea that hey, a basilisk being alive should be treated incredibly seriously.
But if they did do that, then they would actually be intelligent.
Well, if
They're clearly not.
If they did that, then the Ministry would actually take an interest in what the fuck was going on in Hogwarts.
Yeah, but why would they do that, though?
Yeah. I also
It's not like that's the literal future of their entire civilization.
I've also read another fan fiction where Harry actually breeds basically an army of basilisks to take out the Death Eaters and Voldemort.
Which, well, to be fair, it wouldn't work on Voldy.
Why not?
Snake tongue commands.
Well, clearly, if you get to the snake early enough, it listens to you.
Well,
and nobody
no,
else. Because surely Harry...
Remember, the snakes are racist. And Voldemort is inbred, which he's into.
Yeah, but if Harry raises these things from an egg, surely they'd be loyal to him. And nobody else.
I mean, that's what Hagrid thinks whenever he raises a horrifying monster, and it doesn't exactly work out well for him.
Yeah, but the Scroots weren't sentient the way apparently snakes are.
I mean, the Scroots are not the only thing Hagrid tried to breed.
Snakes are more sentient than apparently dragons are. Less sentient,
Well, shit.
or as sentient as the acromantulas, which are giant fucking spiders. But hey,
Acromantulas are kind of like very worrying because they're very clearly sapient creatures with like a society and culture, but they're also like treated like it's like
well,
I get that.
here's the thing: they apparently like eating humans, even with their sentient society. The more pressing issue I feel, yeah, the more pressing issue I feel is that there is a like horde of them, not like a mile from a school.
And we have to presume that like Dumbledore knows about this, probably.
Dumbledore 100% knows about this. There's no way he couldn't. What else is there? Well, once again, he ignores any and all trauma. Harry, or, Ginny, the person who has been basically mind controlled the entire year, and just chucks them back home.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like anyone actually objects to this.
Again, is that because they don't know any better, or is that because they trust Dumbledore? I mean, probably both.
I've got to think that they basically just don't give a crap for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Like, at no point in the series are we reassured that wizards are like decent people.
Mm. Yeah.
Because they're like not.
Mm-hmm. So I mean that's all I've got for book 2. It's probably the got the least holes in it.
We have not
overall.
even begun to touch on house elves.
No, as I said, I want to do that after we've covered the books because it's going to be a several book topic.
The whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole thing. So book 3. So Harry casts or does some more accidental magic against his relatives, and yet Dumbledore is apparently unconcerned about this, despite the fact that his sister became an Obscurial. For far less reasons as well.
I mean, to be fair, wasn't it implied that his sister was like,
I don't think so. I mean, we wouldn't know because Rowling would never have put anything like that in the books, despite the fact it almost certainly happened.
I mean, you know what's funny? I didn't acknowledge that, but Dumbledore's brother did, in fact, have
sex with a goat. Yes.
Yes, multiple. It's implied.
Yeah, like there are more implications of.
You're cutting out for me, Mel. What were you saying?
There are more implications of Aberforth Dumbledore's bestiality than there are of Death Eaters,
Jack,
being rapists.
Is this just me,
or
is it... Buddy?
Oh, that's on me.
I think it's fine.
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me, Fuzzy? Can you hear me, Jack? That's
hey, it may be my internet that's crapping out.
Hello? Can people hear me? I hope people can hear me. Oh, Jack went away.
You guys are roboting.
Oh.
So hard.
Right. I mean, the stream is staying consistent, which is good.
You guys keep talking without me while I sort this out.
Okay, so it's probably just you. So yeah, there's the whole Obscurial issue. Fuzzy, if you're trying to talk, we cannot hear you.
Ah, never mind. It works now.
Okay, good.
Uh, my internet decided to be a
Bulk,
dick for a second and
bulk out for a
bounce
second,
back
yeah.
and forth in quality.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Fuzzy's internet's... Oh, Fuzzy is gone. Well, I'll keep
Oh
talking.
no. Man down! Man down!
I'll keep talking. So, they took the
There he is.
soul-sucking demons from
Ah,
visiting Guantanamo, and they stuck them outside of
Guantanamo.
school.
look, he's British. He gets a pass.
Yeah.
That's funny. I think it's funny.
But yeah,
But,
they took the soul-sucking demons from the prison and took them to the school.
what's even funnier is the fact that these soul-sucking demons, which they're sapient demons, and apparently they are allowed to exist for the sole purpose of guarding a prison.
Yeah.
Man, I can't even layer out how many different ways that's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Not to mention, apparently the last time Voldemort was around, the Dementors joined him damn near immediately, and yet they were allowed to just go back to the prison.
Red flag right there.
Yeah. Here's a
And
question.
then immediately, and when he came back, they just joined him again immediately.
Yeah. Here's another question. Why is Remus the only werewolf to attend Hogwarts?
Because racism.
Yes, because racism.
Well, no, because nobody but Dumbledore and maybe the staff knew that Remus was a werewolf, and he got through his 7 years with remarkably few incidents. The only incident that happened was not even his fault, and only apparently 4, maybe 5 people found out that he was a werewolf. So why the fuck would you not try again?
I mean, again,
Again.
stupidity.
Well,
think
no,
is the answer.
I have a once again another paranoid theory about this, which is that Dumbledore did it because at this point or Voldemort was starting to ramp up his reign of terror. My instinct is that Dumbledore did it so that he would have a loyal werewolf to him, to infiltrate the werewolf camps and sow discord there.
I mean, that's not out of the question. Oh. Like at all. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Let's get on to the time turners then,
Oh,
because this is the
okay.
book with the time turner.
Uh,
So let's just question the mental stability of anyone who gave a 13/14-year-old girl a time machine to attend more classes.
like, it's fine because she's like
Bill, it's the
good
capitalist
student.
mindset, clearly.
Not even that. They're just like, oh well, she's a good student, so we might as well let her just overwork herself.
Yeah.
Not a great look.
Mm-hmm. What else is there from book 3?
Should we just talk about how utterly time turners break the entire narrative of the series?
I go for it. I don't really care
Well,
that much about time turners.
I don't know too much about it. I just know that the fact that time turners exist.
No,
kinda
so
just-
time travel apparently exists completely, and apparently, even though it's regulated, they have an entire room in the Ministry of Magic that is just shelves upon shelves, like a warehouse full of them. But that is also apparently the only place those exist.
Yeah.
So there's just so much to unpack there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not to mention like I said, introducing time travel is a very tricky thing, especially when it's not the focus of your story. Introducing it so casually and with this many people capable of doing it, how the fuck does your entire narrative not fall apart at the seams?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's apparently not that hard to get your hands on one.
Oh, you just have to be claimed to be a good student.
Or you have to have a teacher or a person in a position of like, okay, let's talk about this. Oldies had people uh infiltrate the Ministry of Magic for God knows how long.
Even had one in the Department of Mysteries where the time turners were made.
Yeah. Why did he not just monopolize time travel and murder everyone? Because apparently there's no defenses against it. Right?
I think
you
that
can make an argument that it's a stable time loop situation and it's not really true time travel.
I mean, I think they are. I think they are terrified of time travel and riding themselves out of time, which is quite dumb because if I saw if I knew I had a way to time travel and then saw myself, I wouldn't go, oh my god, what's another of me doing here? I'd go, time travel, cool. What happens in the future?
Could you give me some numbers that may or may not be related to the lottery?
Exactly.
Just asking for reference.
Like
Yeah.
magical Wall Street.
Um.
Like, what should I hodl?
Yeah. We get another example of Ron being a colossal dick throughout this entire book because he's upset that Hermione's cat is being a cat.
Oh yeah, I forgot that Hermione had a cat.
Crookshanks, very nice cat. Actually figured
Hermione
out
has
what
a
the
cat?
fuck. Yeah, ginger cat. Apparently has a
A
face.
large boy.
Apparently has a face that looks like he ran into a brick wall.
I can actually just picture it in my head.
Mm.
That is just a very typical cat face.
Yeah.
Mm.
What else is there? How does Hagrid qualify to teach care of magical creatures?
I have to assume because he likes to watch them breed.
Wow. Fuzzy, I'm pretty sure it's canonical that Hagrid only likes feet pics.
I mean, magical creatures have feet.
Oh god. So this book also introduces the Marauders map. How haven't because Pettigrew has been in the castle since Percy started going there because he was Percy's pet and then he became Ron's pet. How have the twins never seen Pettigrew on the map? Especially considering that their anal retentive or their like prissy brother is surely one of the people they'd be most looking out for to not be caught by. How have they not seen Pettigrew?
Also, how did a bunch of 15-year-olds make an apparently obscenely powerful magical artifact?
Don't know. Never explained.
And it's not even like they're particularly good at magic.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
At no point is it like, oh yeah, they were magical prodigies. No, apparently some of them were just even below average.
Mm-hmm. Well, no. James, Sirius, and Remus were apparently prodigies.
Oh, fair enough.
Hello, doggy.
Hang on.
Hello, doggy.
I'll be right back. It's my dog's time.
But yeah, so there's no reason why they shouldn't have been able to see him. Considering I think Harry does see Pettigrew at one point on the map. Certainly in the movies he does.
See, that's the thing. This is yet another thing that blows a hole in several narrative things throughout the series. Rowling can't help but make more plot holes for herself.
Yeah.
With some of these plot elements.
Yeah. There's also the fact that throughout most of the book, Hagrid is going through basically a legal trial to defend his hippogriff Buckbeak, who attacked Malfoy because Malfoy was a fucking idiot who didn't listen to his teacher. I'd like to point that out.
Okay.
There is an entire class who saw Hagrid say, "You've got to treat these creatures with respect," and then Malfoy called it an idiot and got clawed. And
that's just it. Malfoy's a dumbass.
Yeah, and not even that badly clawed. We've already said that in book 2, the nurse, Madame Pomfrey, literally regrows all the bones in Harry's arm. Why the fuck can she not just, wave a wand over a little fucking scratch from a hippogriff and heal it instantly? Why is it that big of a deal that the animal must be put down for doing what's in its nature? But yeah, so he's going through this legal trial. At no point does Dumbledore seem to defend Hagrid. No, it's left up to Hermione to find these precedents. Why? What? Just fuck Dumbledore. Fuck Dumbledore. Because, as said, he is the head of the Wizarding government and head of the Wizarding UN, and does nothing to help Sirius, even after finding out that he's innocent. Instead, he sends a 13-year-old and a 14-year-old into the past to save him themselves. While
Dumbledore is fucking lazy.
While there are 100 soul-sucking demons around and a werewolf.
It also introduces the whole time loop thing.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, so you know what? The one thing I can say is that if stable time loops do in fact exist, then that explains why time turners don't just frick everything up.
Mm.
Right? Because if you can't actually change history, and what happens is just going to happen, you just kind of experience it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Right? That is not a plot hole.
Mm-hmm.
That's one way of doing it.
Yeah.
That said, still an idiotic move to give it to a 13-year-old girl.
Oh, absolutely.
However smart she is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you make so many of them and then put them all in one place, and then apparently you can't remanufacture them for a while? Like,
Wizards are dumb.
And even if you've been making them for millennia, and that warehouse is the accumulation of millennia, why apparently they're just not even using them.
Yeah, wizards are dumb.
Right?
Wizards are dumb.
Your audio is very weird right now.
Yeah, it is.
Because I've had to switch to my phone. Because dog. I have to give her dinner, and I also have to make my grandma dinner, so I'm multitasking.
Yeah, but anyway, we've already said it's dumb that Sirius or Remus didn't think to stun or otherwise disable Pettigrew. It's very dumb that Remus apparently somehow forgot that it was the full moon. What's also dumb is that he wasn't affected by the full moon until it came out from behind the clouds. How the fuck does that work?
That it's moonlight.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that it's explicitly stated that even when he's in a locked room, he turns.
Yeah.
So, wait a second. Is lycanthropy psychosomatic?
Well, it's apparently supposed to be an allegory for AIDS.
Well, yes, but putting aside Rowling being a terrible person, is it? Because, apparently, the pedophile werewolf can turn on command, more or less. Or at least half turn, even when there isn't a full moon. So I'm kind of like, is it just kind of a psychological thing?
Don't know.
Did he only turn because he thought he was going to turn?
Maybe. I don't know.
I have stopped questioning the logic of this series at this point because I know it's not going to make sense.
Also, apparently, Snape brought the potion with him.
We will get to Snape. I've got a whole diatribe about Snape this book.
I mean, we've got diatribes about Snape every book.
I mean, yes, I've got an entire list of stuff that fucking Snape has done in each book. But well, no, my opinion is that Snape is frankly completely incompetent and does nothing of worth in any of the books really. But the third book is one of the worst for them. What I was going to mention is the fact that Pettigrew is apparently a spy for at least several months. I can't remember exactly how long. I do actually have a picture of the page where it says how long he was a spy. And I'm just going to try and find it maybe. Either way, he's a spy for several months. Dumbledore is apparently a master legilimens to the point where he can perform the spell non-verbally and without a wand.
Passively.
Passively, yes.
Yeah.
Passive legilimency. How the fuck does he not know that Pettigrew is the spy?
Also, if they suspected there was a spy, just just put the magic roofie in their pumpkin juice, which is apparently something very popular. Just put the magic roofie in the pumpkin juice and just make them spill the beans.
Exactly, yeah. Just use truth serum
I
and interrogate them.
I hate so much that love potions are a legal thing.
Oh,
here.
I forgot.
They are literally.
I forgot to mention this. Start of book 3. Molly Weasley, Ginny Weasley, and Hermione are laughing about the fact that Molly Weasley used a love potion on Arthur Weasley. What the fuck?
Oh,
Fucked up.
Oh
Yeah,
no!
It's
love potions
apparently-
are literally date rape drugs.
It's
Date rape
apparently
drugs.
it's
Seriously.
apparently okay because Arthur was already interested in Molly, so it's fine, and was just trying to get up the courage to ask her out. So it's fine, everyone. It's fine. Let's ignore the fact.
No word.
Let's ignore the fact that we know that Ginny is interested in Harry, and then Harry mystically in book 6 starts to become very interested in Ginny, as a man does a woman.
Okay, Rowling absolutely did not think of that, but that makes a disturbing amount of sense.
Yeah.
Especially
It
since
does, doesn't it?
Especially since, I thought she got over him, though.
Nope.
Or was she trying to do the thing with the jealousy gambit?
Get him to let his guard down.
I
Probably,
mean,
or some shit.
she claims to get over him, but look at how fucking quickly she starts to go out with him. There's no way she's actually over him.
True. Also, Ron gets dosed in that book too, huh?
Yes, he does. And it's seen as A-okay.
Unfortunately, for the person who does them, it does fuck all to help her out.
Well, because she was trying to dose Harry, not fucking Ron. Because who the fuck wants to go out with Ron?
That is the proof positive that Hermione did not belong in Ravenclaw.
I mean, I have words to say about that whole ship. Some very unkind words at that. Incredibly.
When do you want to dive into that? Do you want to dive into that once it's becoming important?
No, do your Snape diatribe first.
End of the book. So Snape diatribe for book 3. So in the third book, he bruised the Wolfsbane potion for Lupin. Fair enough. He's otherwise a completely cantankerous twat who, continues to abuse Harry and Neville. Again, to the point where in this book, Neville's Boggart, which is, the thing they're most afraid of is Snape. That should be investigated immediately. But putting that aside,
you're assuming the Wizarding World, they have a department for time travel, but they don't have one for Child Protective Services.
No, apparently not. But acting as a cantankerous twat, are capped off by his attempt to get, at the very least, a possibly innocent man, get his soul sucked out.
Killed. Yes.
Gets taken out by 3 children, lies blatantly to the Minister of Magic, and then knowingly and purposefully reveals Lupin to be a werewolf, an act that got Lupin fired, ruined his job prospects, and robbed Hogwarts of their best Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher for several years.
So, like, Snape is absolutely evil.
Yes. Oh,
And-
I will get it. I will get onto the other thing that Snape is doing. No, fuck it. I'll do it now. So Snape is the potions teacher. Potions is apparently a very important class for, at the very least, healing and being a wizard cop. Two roles that are very important in Wizarding Society, considering that, hey, well, we always need more healers, and they need more Wizarding cops because, the fascists are out and about still. Snape's standards are so ridiculously high when he's such a shit teacher that there is absolutely no way that he hasn't hurt the job prospects for a decade's worth of students.
And the worst part is that he is very, very good at potioning. Right?
Yeah, no,
And
he is
to the point
apparently a...
that he's a prodigy to the point that his methodology is better than the textbook methodology.
Yeah.
Like, literally, he could rewrite the text, like, the established knowledge of the entire Wizarding World's potions, and he does none of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
This is the whole Reed Richards problem.
It's worse than that, because Reed Richards has checks and balances that prevent him from being able to do it.
Revolutionizing the world with super science.
Yes, like, there's, like, explicitly he's not allowed to do that. Snape has no such quandaries.
And here's the other thing. We'll probably get more into this when we discuss Book 6. But the utter gall of Dumbledore to make Harry and Neville try and respect Snape and be forced to listen to Snape and be forced to be in a room with Snape after Snape was the one who sent Dumbledore after their parents. Not Dumbledore, Voldemort after their parents. And Dumbledore to an extent. Dumbledore probably wouldn't have been that bothered about the Potters or the Longbottoms had it not been for the fucking prophecy. That's another thing about Book 3. We get introduced to the fucking divination teacher, who is a fucking alcoholic.
She's... Oh, I forgot she was an alcoholic. I just remember that she's basically a sham.
Yes.
She's... The funniest part is that she's probably the most, she's probably one of the few only real seers in the world.
Well, that's the thing. She is actually a seer, but
she has no control over it.
Yeah, she has no control of it. So what's the fucking point in teaching the subject?
Well, in hindsight, she is right a surprising amount of the time.
Well, she predicts that Harry has a mortal enemy and that he's in danger of death. Big fucking whoop! Anyone who's watched him for half a year could tell that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure literal children on the street... Also, can we talk about the fact that Harry is apparently, super famous?
Yeah, that's the thing. How the fuck did anyone know what happened when Voldemort attacked the Potters? How?
Well, I had to assume Dumbledore publicized it.
Yeah, and so he publicized it, making Harry the hero, when, let's be real, Harry did nothing. It was all Lily. Lily should be the hero.
Harry existed.
Harry sat there and crapped his fucking diaper. That's all he did. And I love the boy.
Dumbledore is
I love the boy. He's
asshole.
I do actually really like Harry when he's written competently. which Rowling rarely does. But I do like him, but he did nothing. Here's the other thing. In book 4, Hermione gets in the paper, once? And people start sending her hate mail. Harry is literally the hero of the Wizarding World and never gets a single piece of fan mail.
It's almost like Rowling doesn't know how to write people properly.
Well, here's my theory. Here is my theory. Dumbledore, because I believe it is canonical that you can put an owl redirect ward up, or at least block someone from getting owls. Dumbledore did that to Harry. However, that also has horrific connotations, because for years people could have sent these letters and these gifts to Harry to thank him for being the savior of the Wizarding World, and gotten no reply from him. No wonder they're willing to believe the worst of him in book 4 and 5. No fucking wonder if that's the case. Because it doesn't make sense that people are so willing to believe that he's evil. It makes absolutely no sense. I mean, book 2, he's believed to be the fucking heir of Slytherin, which is another thing that Dumbledore and the other teachers didn't crack down on, which is ridiculous.
I mean, at this point, we can just assume that the entire Hogwarts staff is either malicious or incompetent.
Yeah, but he's believed to be the heir of Slytherin when his mother was a Muggle-born and his best friend is a Muggle-born. What the fuck? Like, it's so fucking stupid. And seriously, if Harry were the heir of Slytherin, why the fuck would he be attacking people like Colin Creevey and Justin Finch-Fletchley? Why the fuck would Malfoy and his fucking bum buddies not be the first targets? Like, seriously. Just, I don't know. It's fucking explained in the books by, wizards have no logic. Well, fuck off.
I mean, that also makes sense outside of the books because wizards are fucking morons, as has been repeatedly established here.
It just annoys me. It's such lazy writing that. It's so lazy. But let's get on to book 4, which is the really sort of turning point for the series, becoming more adult. And it starts off with the dumb master decision to bring back the Triwizard Tournament. When people have died in this tournament. And let's be real, they did nothing to make the tournament better. The first task was fucking trying to get past a dragon. How is that safer? How? And let's be real, that's the only good task out of the 3. The other 2 are fucking awful. Because the first one, or the second one, is the fucking crowd staring at a lake for an hour and a quarter. They can't fucking see what's happening under there. They are literally just staring at the surface of a lake for an hour and a quarter. Then the third task...
Sounds almost as boring as a game of cricket.
Yeah. Oh, fuck off. Cricket is actually really entertaining. Wow. It depends on the format. Like, cricket is actually a decent enough sport. For the 5-day variant, 5-day variant is really good to have on and just in the background and to just pay attention when something actually happens. Like, 1 day 2020 cricket is really fucking entertaining. But that's beside the point. That's talking about my dumb English sports.
I just said that to see how you'd react to that.
Oh, I will rant for days and days. Golf is boring. I'll give you that one. But cricket's alright.
Golf is awful.
Apparently baseball's pretty boring as well, but I've not actually watched much of it. Beyond the, anime that cover baseball.
It really depends on the game for baseball.
Yeah. Anyway, so book 4. So the third task of the Triwizard Tournament is literally a maze.
Also, yes, Jack, cricket is great. Like, the ODIs and T20s are great.
Yeah, it is. It genuinely is. So yeah, third task is a maze. How the fuck do they see in the maze?
Okay, Can we just like? I'd like to talk about the second task a little bit more.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Because it is fucking
they're
dumb.
like, at no point were they like, oh, these people aren't in any actual danger. They let the children believe that their loved ones would die.
There's that. Do you actually think that they asked either the students in question or the parents and guardians of the underage students whether they wanted to do this?
They didn't ask the parents and guardians. I believe it is stated that they let the kids know like a minute beforehand, which
a lot of pressure
is better than
a lot of pressure.
Yes.
Here's the other thing. They have 2 Transfiguration Masters, because they've got McGonagall and they've got Dumbledore. And instead of just transfiguring, like, say, a block of wood into a simulacrum or facsimile of this person, they stuck the actual people down there. Why?
Also, just talk about the shenaniganry involved in getting Harry into the actual tournament.
Also, can we talk about the fact that no one's talking about Victor Crumb wanting to bone a 14... Not just wanting to, it's implied that they did bone. The 18-year-old boning the 14-year-old.
I don't think they actually boned. They did kiss, though.
Which is still not great.
No, it's still squicky as fuck. But yeah, let's get on to Dumbledore's actions in the 4th book. So, Mad-Eye Moody...
In which he permits Harry to participate in...
I will get onto it. I will get onto it. So first, Mad-Eye Moody, who is apparently one of his oldest friends, is impersonated for a year, and he doesn't realise at any point. Moody...
Again, I still maintain that he realised and just didn't give a crap.
Very possible. But Moody, who is apparently paranoid to the extreme, you think he wouldn't have, like, codes in case of impersonation?
Oh, he absolutely would if he was written by a competent author. He would have, like, a secret handshake.
Yeah. Then, to keep people from putting their name in the Goblet of Fire, he puts an age line around it. An age line. So, let's get into the fact that the Goblet of Fire will let anyone put somebody's name in. It doesn't have to be the person whose name it is. Anyone can put anyone's name in. What is stopping an overage student being paid to just stick somebody else's name in?
Also, one other thing about the second task that I forgot about.
Yeah?
So, are we going to talk about the fact that they apparently spent a month, like weeks, poring over a library of spell books?
And never came across the Bubblehead spell or Gillyweed. Yeah.
Yes, of which the Gillyweed, okay, that's understandable. The Bubblehead charm is apparently something they just teach everyone in the 5th year.
Yeah.
And apparently you think the library has, like, textbooks.
Yeah.
So you'd think they could just, like, open a 5th year charms textbook and find the Bubblehead charm. And it, like, the spell specifically designed for this.
Yeah. But yeah, so he puts up Dumbledore puts up a fucking age line. He doesn't even have, say, a portrait or a ghost or a house elf there to watch to see if anyone puts a name in that they shouldn't. Because, hey, it's very suspicious that Mad-Eye Moody walks up to the Goblet of Fire, sticks a name in, and then walks away again. Also, I do not believe that there is no way of cancelling the tournament if all the headmasters agreed.
It's like, they talk about it like it's some sort of mystical thing, but the Goblet of Fire literally does not come into play except when, like, they're the ones who make the rules in the first place.
Here's the other thing.
The only thing stopping them is legislation.
Here's the other thing. If it is possible to fucking enter somebody's name in, and enter somebody's name in that is, like, not even at the school, because, you know, apparently what fake Moody did was trick the goblet or confound the goblet into thinking that there were 4 schools. Why the literal fuck would Dumbledore not just go to the Goblet of Fire, go, Confundus, there's another school, and put in Tom Riddle's name? Because then he has to compete or he loses his magic.
Wait, oh!
That was the
Right.
punishment. They lose their magic.
Also, that never comes up again, because apparently taking away someone's magic is not something that's possible except here. But clearly, if they can make one Goblet of Fire, they can just, like, mass-produce the things and then just use that instead of Wizard Guantanamo.
Yeah, here's the other thing. What the fuck happens if somebody is so badly injured that they can't continue? Do they just lose their magic?
Well,
they
no,
can't
they can
compete?
apparently forfeit. No, they can apparently like, I remember they talk about forfeiting rounds.
Fair enough. But then why couldn't Harry just do that?
Cause
Why did Harry have to fucking fight, like, a dragon, go under a lake for an hour, and then go through a maze where he was then kidnapped? Why couldn't he just stood there and gone, nah, I'm not doing this, I'm forfeiting. Fuck you. I'm 14 years old. These guys are 17 and 18. Fuck it. Fuck all y'all.
I love Harry when he's written well, but he's not the
He's not written well by Rowling,
sharpest
is the
bulb
thing.
in the drawer.
He's not written well by Rowling.
Yes, that is the issue
But yeah,
primarily.
but as I said, I believe that there has to be some way of cancelling the tournament if all the headmasters agree. But who was the only headmaster in favour of continuing the tournament after Harry was entered? Dumbledore. The other two would have been happy to cancel it and redraw.
Also, they let the former Nazi run a school.
Yeah, Karkaroff. Which takes me on to what Snape does in Book 4, because it's also fucking awful because he's incompetent as fuck. He assumedly tries and fails to find out who put Harry's name in the goblet. I assume all of the teachers were asked to, maybe come up with something. Spends most of his time just antagonizing Karkaroff for no reason. Fails to find out who's stealing his ingredients all year. And fails to figure out that, hey, somebody might be making polyjuice with these polyjuice ingredients that were stolen. Huh. Small world.
Gee, I wonder.
Well, to be fair, he did realize it was polyjuice and try to pin it on the last people who stole polyjuice ingredients from him. So, on that one count, he had reasonable suspicion, because they did steal polyjuice ingredients from him in the second book.
They did. But again,
and so it's more natural for him to assume, well, they did it once, they probably did it again.
But then we get on to Voldemort's plan for this book, which is so fucking convoluted. Like, ridiculously convoluted. Why the fuck did they go to all the trouble to stick Harry in the Triwizard Tournament when all they had to do was get Moody to basically, like, hand Harry something that happened to be a portkey and let it activate? Why?
I forgot portkeys were introduced in this book as well.
Yeah.
And then you realize, why did people still use brooms?
In fairness, portkeys sound quite awful. As does...
Yeah, but so does apparently teleporting just feels awful.
I mean, apparently all methods of wizarding transportation are terrible, because Flu, like, spins you around like a fucking spinning top. Apparition squeezes you through a hose, and Portkey lifts you up by your navel and races you to your destination.
That sounds fucking awful.
Honestly,
why would you come up with that?
Can I be real with you for a second? Arthur Weasley is probably the most innovative man in wizarding history.
Yeah, because he makes the fucking flying car.
The flying car worked really well
Yeah, I mean,
until they ran it into a death. Also, why is there just a death tree
yeah,
on campus
yeah.
that beats people to death, and that's its entire thing?
I mean, not only did Arthur Weasley make a flying car, he somehow made a sentient flying car.
Oh yeah, it is sentient, and then it goes wild and just lives in the Forbidden Forest for the rest of eternity.
Yeah,
Which, that second car is, in hindsight, a badass.
yeah. Oh no, it absolutely is.
Because it survived crashing into a death tree, being pummeled by said death tree, and then lived alongside giant spiders and God knows what other eldritch horrors in a forest.
So back to Dumbledore for a second. This is also the book where he starts to believe that Harry may actually survive. So up until this point, which is about, 13 years? He's just been planning under the assumption that Harry is going to die.
Okay, something's just occurred to me. Assuming he and Harry both died,
Yeah.
what was his plan there?
The sum of Jack and or shit.
Because, like, he is basically... Okay, this is something I need to get off my chest now. We can come back to it later, because it actually is brought up in this book. That's why I remember this very clearly. Power levels. Wizarding power scaling. No. What determines whether or not a wizard is powerful, and how does a wizard become more powerful?
Yeah.
Because there's a very, very important throwaway line in this book where apparently power levels are a thing because Fake Moody is like, if the entire classroom points their wand and casts the death curse at me, I'll basically, it won't be more than a nosebleed.
Actually, I think that was more to do with the nature of the unforgivable curses. Because the whole point about them is that you can't...
You gotta want it?
You can't properly cast them unless you have the requisite emotion to do so. So, for the killing curse, you have to, hate somebody enough to kill...
no, but like, no, because people just throw out the killing curse casually without any sort of, like, sociopaths throw out the killing curse all the time. I think it's more about really wanting it.
Yeah.
But
Again,
yes, okay,
it's not explained well. It's not explained well.
Yeah, no. If all wizards have an equal amount of mana, to put it plainly, then how is one wizard more powerful than another? The spells they know? Okay, how do they know other spells?
Yeah.
How do spells come into existence? Because apparently, like, clearly you can't just, like, point a wand and do Pig Latin.
Yeah.
And apparently, wizard's magic is a thing that exists.
Yeah.
So why don't people do that? Why is that, like, why are wands a thing? Like, there are so many things wrong with this magic system.
Just the world building in general. The moment you think closely about the world, it all falls apart.
Yep.
It just...
Well, a theory that that comes from some fan fiction is that Dumbledore never intended to die. He intended to martyr Harry to get past the prophecy and then take out Voldemort once he was basically, like, tired from taking out Harry.
Which, it would have worked if he wasn't a complete idiot who just...
Picked up a cursed ring, yes.
Yes, and it's like, you'd think he'd be able to cure it.
Don't know.
Right?
Don't
Like...
know. He's an idiot. But yeah, so here's the other thing that I noticed at one point when Dumbledore was trending. When Harry tells Dumbledore that Voldemort took his blood to resurrect Voldemort, the first thing that Harry sees in Dumbledore's eyes is not relief that the boy he supposedly cares about might not have to die. It is triumph. It is triumph that his plan is succeeding, or will succeed even better. And we'll maybe have a survivor to, crow about how wonderful Albus Dumbledore is.
That part of the plan worked out, at least.
Yeah.
Because he did name his child after him.
It fucking worked like a fucking charm. Because this fucking series doesn't want to shit on Dumbledore at all. Regardless of what anyone says about Book 7, it doesn't shit on Dumbledore.
Another thing, though. Ancient ritual magic.
Yeah.
Brought up once, never comes up again. Apparently, is much more powerful than modern magic because it can bring back someone who's a sliver of a soul.
Yep.
So, like, okay, but what this is telling me is that not only is the wizarding education system bad by wizarding standards, or by human standards, it's bad by wizarding standards.
Yeah.
Because they don't actually teach them anything useful or powerful.
Yeah. Oh, here's the thing. Here's another thing from the Triwizard Tournament. The prize was apparently 1,000 galleons and everlasting fame. First things first, Book 4 is the first we hear of the Triwizard Tournament, so it's not that much everlasting
and then you never
fame.
hear about it again.
And then you never hear about it again. And the 1,000 galleons, so apparently, according to something published after the books ended, a hit wizard earns 700 galleons per month.
Huh.
So it's about a month and a half salary for, admittedly, probably a better paying job than most, but still only a month and a half.
It's not. It's like, at worst, it even for the least paid, it's like not more than a year's salary.
Yeah.
Also, can we talk about how the Weasleys survive if they're apparently so poor that their bank account consists of silver, like a few silver coins?
Yeah.
Right? Like, assuming they're self-sufficient for food, right? Because, like, which they apparently are, or maybe they just, food doesn't cost anything because they can just make infinite amounts of it, apparently. Yeah. What are their, I just don't understand. Also, apparently, compound interest is a hell of a drug because Harry is at no point at risk of running out of money.
Yeah. Again, we never learn how much money has been left to Harry. And that's another thing.
Well, okay, so in fairness, they did explain where the money came from. Which is very funny in hindsight.
What is the explanation? Because I think I'm talking about a different thing, but you go ahead and explain it anyway.
Apparently his grandpa invented Skelegro.
Yeah. Okay. No. I'm fine. I'm fine with them having that much money. I'm fine with them having that much money. What I'm saying is, or what I'm bringing up is, did the Potters have a will, or wills?
Probably.
I mean,
because it's clearly a thing.
It's
clearly a thing in the wizarding world because Sirius had one.
Dumbledore had one, yeah.
Dumbledore had one. Sirius had one. I don't believe that two people who are apparently as smart as James and Lily Potter were, and know that Voldemort is after them, I don't believe that they wouldn't set up a will. And in that will, you would like to think that they would, say where they would like, or say who they would like their baby boy to be raised by. And I frankly do not fucking believe that either of them said, you know who our son should go to if we die? Your sister. You know the
No,
one
no,
that you know the
absolutely.
one that hates you and hates magic, and the one that married that guy who is incredibly bad-tempered and hates magic. In fact,
So no, that was absolutely 1 billion% Dumbledore pulling strings. Because apparently he's the head of Parliament, right?
Yeah.
Like the equivalent is that he's the head of the head of Parliament and also the head of the Wizard UN.
yeah.
Apparently. So you have to imagine he can just like make the will go away. He probably did.
Again, it's more pointing out that Dumbledore's a cunt. And I don't use that word lightly. It's the one swear
Yeah, no,
word
it's
it's the one swear word I don't use lightly, but he is one.
You know, speaking of the Dursleys, like, I know we touched on them a few times, but there's really no real justification for having Harry live with them for the first 10, 11 years of his life, other than that they are related to him.
Well, the justification Dumbledore gives is that
magic.
Harry is being protected by blood wards sustained by him living with his family, aka
Which is blood related.
yes, very specifically Petunia and Dudley.
However,
However,
specifically, it's bloodline from his mother's side.
yes. However, how far do those wards extend? Because
Apparently, only the property.
because from
He does go to school and stuff. Yes,
from the
that
age
does
of
nothing
5
to
to
save.
10, he goes to school. I mean, in book 5, he gets attacked by Dementors there. In book 3, Sirius makes his way very close by.
You know, the funny thing is, like, there's a similar thing in another book series where a character has to live with an abusive sort of relative. But in that series, it's explained that the character's mortal stench was strong enough to keep monsters away.
Ah, yes, the Percy Jackson thing.
Yeah, Percy Jackson.
Oh, you mean a well-written
it
series?
only lasts for book 1 before he gets petrified for being a colossal dickhead.
And here's the other thing. Dumbledore, literally the only provision Dumbledore makes to ensure that Harry is treated well is to place, frankly, what seemed like a senile old lady who breeds cats nearby.
Who
has
let's
no
be real, she
connection.
couldn't do anything even if she did make
That's the thing.
active efforts
That's
to be
the thing.
nice.
She was non-magical. She was
Because
non-magical.
like
What the fuck
she's
was she supposed
basically
to
a human
do?
being.
Yeah.
Like
She was a, as the wizards call her, a squib, which is also incredibly insulting term. Not going to use it. Just going to call them non-magical. So here's the thing. If you were going to put somebody there, why wouldn't you put somebody like, say, Remus, who actually has an attachment to Harry? Why could you not say, Remus was friends with Harry's parents. He's,
What the fuck?
he's basically an uncle to Harry. Yeah, he knows where Harry moved, so he moved there to be closer to him. Why? And no, instead, honestly, the book Remus, well, canon Remus, is fucking awful. He's genuinely an asshole. And I really
Discord
hate
is being
it.
a dick.
Oh. Is anyone hearing what I'm saying? I hope they are.
I can hear you now. Discord was just being a dick.
Right.
Yeah, no, yeah, I thought it was. Oh, it was Discord. I thought it was on my end.
Nope, it was on my end too. It was probably Discord being a dick.
Okay, where were we?
I'm ranting about how canon treats Remus awfully.
Okay, shall we? Could you clarify for me since I've missed most of it?
Well, here's the thing. Well, or Rowling writes Remus as awful, which doesn't seem right, really, because Remus, feels like he should be a good guy, but instead he ignores Harry for the first, for the 12 years that, Harry is at the Dursleys, and then in first and second year. In third year, like, telling Harry that he is a friend of his parent, or was a friend of his parents, was like pulling teeth. Book 4 and 5, we don't get any indication that Harry is at all in contact with Lupin, beyond the times that they, meet up randomly. And it's only really in book 6 that we get any indication that Harry might be actually writing to Remus. And then in book 7, he's willing to abandon his wife and child to go on the Horcrux hunt. Again...
Oh yeah, that romance with Tonks that came out of fucking nowhere.
Canon treats Remus so awfully, and it's so bullshit.
I mean, it doesn't treat Sirius much better.
No, it doesn't. It treats Sirius awfully. But at least Sirius, stays in continuous contact with him and actually tries to help Harry as much as possible. Book 5 treats him horrifically because, again, the common thread. Dumbledore traps him inside his childhood house that he hated, anytime Snape is there, lets Snape take pot shots at him for doing nothing, despite the fact that Snape's not doing anything either. And then is surprised when Sirius hears that, hey, my godson is in trouble, I've got to go save him. And then, gets killed by Bellatrix because Harry can't be happy.
So, I will say, at least for the first 12 years, I have absolutely zero hard time believing that Dumbledore just didn't tell Lupin where he was.
Very possible. Very possible.
Possibly even because he forgot.
On the other hand, if Sirius was able to find Harry, why wasn't Lupin?
True.
Because reasons.
I mean, in fairness, it's clear that, very least, James trusted Sirius more than he did Lupin, so it's possible that...
Which was probably for racist reasons.
We don't know. I mean, it's just level of friends. Sometimes you have somebody you really, really get on with, and sometimes you've got... I mean, clearly they were very good friends, but just not on the level of friends that Sirius and James were, who were apparently like brothers. I mean, apparently, I think Sirius lived with James for like his last 2 years of Hogwarts.
Yeah, because he hated his racist family.
Yeah, because he got kicked out by his racist family.
Which is honestly good on him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? If you get kicked out by racists, then you're doing something right.
Yes. But but I can understand the the level of trust not being the same between James and Remus as it was James and Sirius. And it could be explained that, yes, James told Sirius, didn't tell Remus, or maybe didn't have a chance to tell Remus. We just don't know, because there's been very little attention put on the Marauders, except to fucking shit on them consistently. Like, that's the thing. Rowling seems to absolutely despise the Marauders. Absolutely despise
apparently, them. Well, no, I know why.
Well, because she loves Snape.
They were mean to Snape, who was apparently... Yes, they were mean to Snape, who was apparently her baby.
Yeah. Which is bullshit, because the one bit that we got to see, yes, they started picking on him, unprovoked. But, they're using prank spells. Snape uses fucking Sectum Sempra. And opens up a gash on James's cheek. Like, holy fuck. Like, you can't say that Snape wasn't, trying to give as good as he got. Like, his intention, when he found out that Lupin was a werewolf, was to go kill him.
No, Snape is absolutely a sociopathic incel, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing. But that's the thing. People like say, "Oh no, Snape is misunderstood, and the Marauders are the bad guys here because they bullied him." Snape clearly gave as good as he got. For God's sake. I mean, and then there's also the fact that he was hanging around with Death Eaters who were apparently, at the very least, physically assaulting people, if not sexually assaulting people at Hogwarts. Remember that? Remember that from book 7?
Wait, what?
Wait, what now?
Like, in book 7, when Harry is going through Snape's memories, when Snape and Lily are talking after Snape called Lily a mudblood, they mention something about, I believe, a guy named Mulciber. And I believe, certainly my reading was sexual assault. And apparently he was one of Snape's good friends, who Snape defended. I mean, I'll try and find the actual thing. I mean, I'm not even gonna fucking hide this. I am pirating these books because Rowling doesn't deserve a single
do not pay for them. No.
single fucking penny of my money. Okay,
Do not
Deathly
give
Hallows.
Rowling any...
No, I'm not giving Rowling any money. So let's Prince's Tale 33. No, 3. Chapter 33, The Prince's Tale.
Well, while Mill's browsing that, Fuzzy, do you have anything else you want to add to the whole Snape is a dickhead conversation that we're having right now?
So we're on book 5, right?
I think so.
So can we just talk about the fact that this is broader than just book 5, but in general, we know Snape's a dick, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, they don't say anything about Mulciber or Avery, but Mulciber's and Avery's idea of humor is just evil. Evil is all that's said.
Which is extremely vague and open for interpretation. But
yeah.
So
But yeah.
Here's my 2 cents on this is that Snape is a dick. It's the only person whose side he's on is his own.
Yes. Oh,
Right, that much is-
100%
that much
he's
is
playing both
established.
sides. 100% he's playing both sides and is just going to join whoever wins.
And then, but like, he's not even that good at it.
Oh no, he's a horrible, horrible spy. He's terrible. He's an absolutely awful spy. Because here's the thing. Book 5 and 6. So book 5, what Snape does, he fails to even remotely teach Harry occlumency, thanks to his own behaviour and the trust issues Snape caused. He spends the entire year goading Sirius, who at the very least is an important Order member, if only because he owns the house the group meets in. Though Sirius is
To be
apparently...
fair, absolutely went into it with the intention of trying to kill Sirius, right?
Yo, no, he
Like-
absolutely did. But he doesn't give Umbridge Veritaserum, but that's the extent of his rebellion. He's a shit spy because all he apparently finds out is that Voldemort is going after the prophecy, which frankly most people could guess based on his moves.
well, thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah, and then when the 6 that go to the Ministry go off into the forest, he takes an utter fucking age to inform anyone that shit is happening. And I'm fairly sure, I can't remember where it is.
He did intentionally stall, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, no, he stalled. He stalled. Which is, ridiculous. He's supposed to be, a good guy, and yet he doesn't tell Dumbledore immediately, so that Dumbledore, can maybe be there waiting with this group of people he apparently gets together. In book 6, he's finally the defense against the dark arts teacher, but he's still a
And he
fairly...
doesn't-
He's still a fairly shit
He's
one.
a crap teacher, yes. I don't even know why he wanted to be the teacher of that class in the first place.
Maybe he just wanted to leave Hogwarts and saw the Defense Against the Dark Arts role as the best way to do it.
Yeah, but like people
Yeah,
die in
that
that
position
role.
was actually cursed, wasn't it?
Yeah,
in
yeah,
story?
yeah, cursed.
Literally, it was not metaphorically cursed. It was literally cursed. And what's never explained is how it was done. Like, apparently, wizards who don't go through a traditional education system are just gods who can do literally anything.
Well, here's the thing: Voldemort goes through that traditional education system. That's just Dumbledore. The issue is, or the point is that they actually study after they leave Hogwarts. Like,
Right,
Dumbledore goes through a variety of apprenticeships, and Voldemort just studies the dark arts. But anyway, so in Book 6, Snape also spends the entire year trying to find out what Malfoy's plan is, and, you know, you'd like to think stop it, but fails miserably, though to be fair, that might be part of Dumb as a Door's plan as well. But we also get further indication that he's a terrible, terrible spy, considering the Ministry and the Order literally do fuck all in combating Voldemort. They don't do anything. They're worthless. Both of them. And then in Book 7, this is where he actually, you know, acts maybe as a double agent, and a decent double agent. And yet when he has the chance to actually help Harry, Hermione, and the fucking dickhead Ron, he puts the fucking Sword of Gryffindor in the bottom of a pool for no reason. And then dies taking out Nagini. Or dies to Nagini.
which really kind of just like, there's so many ways he could have avoided that.
As I said, you know, we've mentioned the fact that the issues, his shitness and overly high standards might be causing the wizarding world as a whole. Just because of his shitty teaching style and shitty personality. But that's the thing. He abuses Harry for 6 books based on the fact that Harry is the son of James Potter. 6 books. 6 years. Snape is in his 30s. Harry is a child. How can you see that and go, yeah, he's a good dude. I'm gonna name my second child after him. I genuinely hate Snape as a character.
And as a person.
And as a person. But, like...
It's just pretty awful, yeah.
Like, I have admittedly read fictions where Snape is actually, you know, a decent person. But it takes so much changing of his behaviour.
Basically, you need to do a full rewrite.
Well, basically, you need to have him start from the very beginning of not treating Harry like trash. Or if you do, at the very least, you know, have Snape explain to Harry, look, the only reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to have to be a spy. And if it gets back to Voldemort that I'm treating you well, it might, you know, raise awkward questions.
And the worst part is, it wouldn't. Because Voldemort
is a fucking idiot.
Never trusts him anyway.
Voldemort is a fucking idiot. Like, he's terrible. He's actually so dumb. Like, the only reason he's dangerous is because he's powerful. His plans are otherwise garbage. And take an entire year to put into action.
Again, I still have no idea what powerful means in in the wizarding world.
I mean, yes.
There's really no good definition of the power scaling in the series beyond knows a lot of spells.
Even then, sometimes they don't really know that many spells. They kind of just, like, are powerful for reasons, apparently.
Well, again, Dumbledore's explanations for why Voldemort is powerful is, Voldemort had powers I will never have. Okay, cool. Great. Oh, we haven't kept ranting about Dumbledore.
Oh yes, we should do that.
Let me do the last 3 books. Last 2 books 5 and 6, because there's not much to mention in book 7 because he's already fucking dead. And it's just the culmination of his manipulations. But book 5, Dumbledore completely isolates himself from Harry at a time when, frankly, more than ever, they should have a united front. He recreates the Order of the Phoenix.
The reason he isolates himself is also very, very dumb.
Yes. He also recreates the Order of the Phoenix, which is completely incompetent. Locks Sirius, who was imprisoned in hell for 12 years in his childhood home that holds 16 years of awful memories while telling him he can't ever leave. He then reveals some of his manipulations to Harry at the end of the book, only hours after his godfather died. He puts the entire weight of the world onto Harry's shoulders after his main connection to his parent dies. And, he allows Umbridge to run rampant for the entire sodding year. In book 6, he takes most of a year to reveal something that could have been revealed in a weekend. Seriously, why were the memories so spaced out? Why would you not just watch them all in a weekend, say, okay, we've got this memory, need it from Slughorn, please go get it. Okay, cool. As if...
Oh, well, apparently he didn't have all the memories at the start.
Did he not? I thought he did.
No, he went out and, like...
How could he not? Like, some of those people had already died.
He had a lot of the dead ones, but apparently he, like, on screen said that, yeah, I just went and grabbed them from somewhere.
Well, here's the thing. Going through the memories, he had that Ogden bloke who was, like, head of magical law enforcement. But that was, I would say, probably a good century ago. Certainly, 70 or 80 years. So Ogden is probably dead by now.
Well, to be fair, for a long time, even without, like, mortality shenanigans.
I still say he's probably dead. I mean...
Yes, but, like... Maybe he lived. A little bit, as a treat. But yes, I get you. It's like, it's dumb. That's the explanation given.
So, I mean, apparently he very much... According to the Harry Potter wiki, he died sometime before September 1996, which I believe was start of 6th year. So he was already dead at that point, so Dumbledore had to have already had his memory. The second memory was Dumbledore's, I believe. The third memory was the house elf who was imprisoned for apparently killing its master.
Which again could have been solved with one single truth potion.
Yep, but again, I'm fairly sure probably dead, consider if they were sent to Azkaban. I mean, let me see if I can find its entry. The house elf Hokey. Well, the house elf was apparently very old at the time of the master dying.
Okay, fair enough.
Apparently, the house elf Hokey died not long after the master, so that's another one he had to have already had. The next one, I believe, was fucking Voldemort's uncle, who again died in Azkaban pretty quickly, I feel like. Let's see, again, I'm going off Harry Potter wiki, which obviously might not be as,
Fair enough.
Again, before 1996. We don't know exactly when.
For all we know, the wiki might be more accurate than the actual books.
Very possible.
That is a fair...
Very possible. And then after that, I believe it was Dumbledore again, and then Slughorn. Like, Slughorn's memory, I think, was the only one he was missing from the lot that he showed Harry.
Enough.
And again, why could you not tell Harry to get it at the start of the year, after having gone through all the memories by that point? So again, I feel like it shouldn't have taken that long. It should have taken a weekend at most. He doesn't actually teach Harry anything that might help him survive in a fight.
Oh yeah! Even though he clearly has access to some of the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh, you mean the drugs?
Yeah.
I love the drugs.
He's also planning, behind all of his supporters' backs, I might add, to have the least trustworthy person in his little bird club kill him at the end of the year with no explanation to anyone. He keeps Draco sodding Malfoy in the castle for the entire year, despite the fact that Draco nearly kills 2 people, mind controls a third, and has a dark mark the entire time. Also, he can, in inverted commas, redeem him. The end result of this is that a dozen Death Eaters enter the castle, including Fenrir Greyback, who has a history of turning children into werewolves. He doesn't give Harry any information about where he thinks the Horcruxes may be. He tries to leave the sword to Harry, yes, but unless he's a massive idiot, which, he very well could be,
Yes.
he should have known that it would never be given to him, either due to the fact that it's a, historical artifact of great importance, or the fact that once he's dead, there's very little stopping Voldemort from taking over the school and/or ministry, and stopping Dumbledore's
And the world,
will.
really.
And the world, really. And
Oh.
stopping Dumbledore's
Actually, no,
will
to be
from being,
fair, you know what the world... We don't really know what the world of wizards is like outside of the United Kingdom. It could just be a bit of a Brexit situation. What if wizards Brexited before Brexit?
Very possible. Very possible. The few things that we know is that obviously Durmstrang and Beauxbaton are things. We know that there is a single magical school covering all of Asia that is in Japan and is very insultingly named. I can't remember exactly what it's called.
Magical. It's literally called Maho Tokoro, magical place. I think she just literally looked it up in...
God.
Yes, she just looked it up in Google Translate, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my
She didn't even,
God.
Maho Gakuen,
Yeah.
right? She didn't even name it Magic Academy. She just,
Or, Maho Koko, Magic High School.
Let's not get into that particular anime series. I have a very difficult relationship with that series. Also, I'm pretty sure that series is just literal incest as the main
It is.
Yeah.
It is actual incest.
I think they've got a spin-off series airing this season.
They do.
Wait, how are they spinning off on...
I don't
How
know.
are they doing a high school spin-off of a high school series?
I don't know.
Basically, it's basically like a perspective flip of the series, of the original, focused on
no.
the sister who wants to bone her brother.
The honor student at Magic High School has 4 episodes currently out.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Japan, why?
Why not? I get this sentence, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we've, gone over why Dumbledore and Snape are colossal dickheads by now. I want to focus a bit on Ron. So we've mentioned that in first year he's a jealous dick to Hermione. In second year, fairly sure he's a dick to Hermione at some point. Third year, he's a dick to Hermione. Fourth year, he was a jealous dick to Harry and I think Hermione. Fifth year...
Oh, especially to Hermione, because the crumb stuff.
Oh, yes, no, definitely to Hermione. Definitely to Hermione. Forgot about the crumb stuff. So, yeah, jealous dick to Hermione and Harry. Fifth year, dick to Hermione. Gets made prefect for no apparent reason.
Gets made prefect because he's friends with Harry.
Why didn't Harry get it?
Because Dumbledore did some BS about...
Yeah, because Dumbledore said Harry didn't need that much on his plate. But here's the thing. The public is watching Harry and Dumbledore's relationship very closely at this point to see whether, Dumbledore actually believes in Harry. What does Dumbledore do? He snubs him for an important position and ignores him completely the entire year. What's that gonna say about the relationship they have? Either way, Harry should have been made prefect because Ron literally never took it seriously. Never.
To be fair, I don't think, as horrible as Dumbledore is, he was right. I don't think Harry would have actually been able to be effective. I'm pretty sure Hermione's not very effective. I think people just don't... The students just don't give a crap about the prefects.
Very possible. But here's the thing. Harry was Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher for about 30 people for most of the year. I think he could have taken prefects.
I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
Apparently a very competent... Also, it's funny how a single year of off and on training is enough to make you a competent Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher.
Yep.
Says a lot about how this setting works, doesn't it?
And let's be real, from what people said in Book 6, fairly sure Harry was a better Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher than Snape.
Not a high bar.
No. I'm also fairly sure that Fake Moody was a better Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher than Snape.
Again, not a high bar.
But all that does is put him at the low end of competent, because all that means is the only ones he's better at teaching is Quirrell, Lockhart, and Umbridge. But anyway, back to Ron. So Book 5, he's almost certainly a jealous dick to Hermione at some point. Book 6, he is a horny jealous dick to Hermione. Book 7, he is a dick to Harry and Hermione and abandons them so he can eat food. And then he somehow gets with Hermione, despite the fact that they have nothing in common. In fact, if Harry wasn't there, they wouldn't be friends. That is not the basis for a relationship.
Nope.
Let's also look at, the relationship between Harry and Ginny, which, spawns in Book 6, having shown no interest otherwise, and is somehow strong enough to last through a year of them not being together. The other thing that I want to mention is, let's see, where is that quote? Because Ginny says something quite, frankly, terrible.
Oh boy.
So, the whole point of Harry's character, if I'm reading him rightly, is that he just wants to be normal. Correct?
Yeah, I can see that.
Fuzzy? Probably not here. But that's my reading of him. Ginny says, "I knew you wouldn't be happy unless you were hunting Voldemort. Maybe that's why I like you so much."
The fuck?
Mm-hmm. That girl ain't over her crush. That girl ain't over her crush at all. Oh, I mean, she actually says outright, "I never really gave up on you." Wow, I forgot about that part. Yeah. No, she never gave up on Harry, which, as I said, makes his apparent attraction to her that just appears out of nowhere in Book 6 all the more concerning. So, yeah, I very much dislike the canon pairings there. I think they're terrible.
Yeah.
Also, very much dislike Molly Weasley. Mostly because of what she or how she treats Sirius in book 5, which is awfully, and tries to control what controls what Harry and Hermione know, despite the fact that they aren't her children. And accuses Sirius of being a bad guardian figure for wanting to tell Harry this stuff, despite the fact that it's the stuff that may actually keep him alive. Because here's the thing. Here is the thing. If Harry knew that there was a prophecy in the Department of Mysteries that Voldemort was after, might he have rushed off so readily? I mean,
I'm pretty sure his middle name is Leroy Jenkins, but
I mean, yes. I mean, to be fair, it was more to go save Sirius than it was to get the prophecy. But I just really dislike the ending of Book 5. I like most of it because I like the idea of Harry running a secret society under Umbridge's nose. Umbridge, who is, a horrific, horrific person.
I will say that for all my faults with Harry Potter, Umbridge is a fantastically written hate sink.
No, that's the thing. There are parts of Harry Potter that are actually quite good. The relationship,
Like, Rowling did a great job of making Umbridge utterly loathsome. I will give her that.
yeah. So Umbridge is loathsome. I liked the relationship between Harry and Hermione to the point where I thought it should have, actually been the canon pairing, because it would have made so much more sense. Even Rowling admits that it should have been the main pairing.
Like, I think Rowling subscribes to the school of thought. Well, thought is a
Generous.
generous. That boy mean girl mean boy like girl.
I mean, that's not a bad school of thought, since having the main female lead and the main male lead always fall in love is a terrible trope that I hate.
But here's the thing:
Like,
it's better than having four characters fall in love with each other who don't have anything in common.
not wrong, no. When
We
it
know
works, it works.
nothing.
But when it doesn't, it feels
Yeah.
utterly forced. The
But I
thing.
mean, here's the thing.
oh,
We know nothing about Ginny. All we know is that she's a fiery redhead who likes Quidditch.
She's not even that fiery for the first 5 books.
Yeah. Also,
She's like literally her thing is that she's a Harry Potter fangirl.
yeah.
For some reason. Apparently she is the only Harry Potter fangirl in the world, despite the fact that, like, he's super famous.
Yeah.
isn't he the chosen one or something?
But yeah. Also, slightly creepy that Harry fell in love with somebody who apparently looked a decent bit like his mother.
That's less creepy, more just like Freud being continuing to
Yeah.
stick around even in death.
But yeah. We haven't discussed the prophecy at all. The prophecy that is bullshit and plays no part in the defeat of Voldemort.
Oh yeah, it doesn't, does it?
Because let me just get the exact wording of the prophecy. That is not the one that I wanted. Why would you show me that? I'm just going to go on prophecy as a whole. First prophecy. The one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches, born to those who have thrice defied him, born as the 7th month dies. And the Dark Lord will mark him as his equal, but he will have power the Dark Lord knows not, and either must die at the hand of the other, for neither can live while the other survives. The one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord will be born as the 7th month dies.
That's like incredibly non-specific, huh?
Oh,
Very
incredibly, and can be interpreted in so many ways, so many ways, and yet Dumbledore just assumes that his reading of it is the right one.
To be fair,
canonically, I'm
assuming
pretty
that-
sure it could have applied to both Harry and Neville, just from the canon alone.
Mm-hmm.
but like not just them. It could have like applied to anyone, basically.
Well, here's the thing. When they say 7th month, are they talking about July? September was the 7th month in the what was it, Romanic calendar?
Roman calendar, yes. Where it got bumped back by July and August because Julius and Augustus.
The what's the 7th month in the Chinese calendar?
I think it's September or August. I don't remember. It depends on what Chinese New Year is.
So yeah, so you know, different months there. Very non-specific as to the power that the Dark Lord knows not.
Apparently, it was just love the whole time.
Here's the thing, though. Harry didn't sacrifice himself for love. He sacrificed himself because Dumbledore told him to. And at that point, he was so indoctrinated into following that geriatric asshole that he couldn't think straight. He didn't do it for love. He didn't fucking reflect fucking Voldemort's killing curse with love. It magically reflected because Harry was apparently the true owner of the Elder Wand, which is a whole nother level of bullshit, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's bullshittery. We haven't even talked about that.
Are we even on the 7th book yet?
I mean, we've talked after the 4th book. We've just been flitting back and forth. Honestly, I can't be asked going through them all.
Yeah,
It would take a long ass time.
Those are also the books that I remember the least because they're terrible.
That makes sense.
It really was all downhill after the 3rd book, wasn't it?
So I do want to talk a little bit more about the prophecy. Why did Dumbledore meet with Trelawney in his brother's pub? His brother, who apparently
family business,
his brother, who apparently hates Dumbledore,
and also has intercourse with goats.
Yes. Considering the other
What? What?
He's confirmed to
Aberforth Dumbledore
sex with
fucks goats. Yes, Aberforth Dumbledore
regularly
fucks goats.
Why?
I don't know. Ask him.
God fucking damn it, J.K. Rowling.
Okay, no. Apparently, it was a charm to keep a goat's horns curly and clean.
No, like
That's still sketchy as fuck, man.
No. So Rowling was asked this question by like a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
And then she was apparently just giggling to herself the whole time when she gave that answer.
I mean, I completely, believe that.
And basically, if you read between the lines, absolutely, Aberforth was banging them goats.
Yeah. But yeah, so the only other, interview for a potential teacher that we saw was the one Dumbledore had with Voldemort, which was done in the castle, in Dumbledore's office. So why would Dumbledore, at a time of war, I'd like to add, this is 1980, this is the height of the war with Voldemort, would leave the castle's defences to go meet with a divination teacher? And oddly enough, at the exact same time, Severus Snape was in that pub, and happened to hear only the first part of the prophecy.
Huh.
Yeah.
This is a lot more complicated than it needs to be.
In fact, Trelawney even mentions the fact that Snape was found outside. So she was cognizant of Snape being found outside, which means that because she can't remember whenever she's giving a prophecy, that means he was there long enough to be there at the end of the prophecy given. Not to mention the fact that just heard a prophecy about the end of the Wizarding War. A Death Eater has heard it, and Dumbledore just lets him go. Just lets him go and tell Voldemort.
No. Like, you know what the scariest part of this is? I have no idea if this is like just Dumbledore being horrifically incompetent or malicious.
Why not both?
Again, a potential reading of it is that once again, Dumbledore wanted the prophecy to be fulfilled via the Chosen One being killed, so that anyone would have a chance at killing Voldemort. Most likely him. That is a potential reading of it.
Fair enough.
Again, whether you think badly enough of Dumbledore that he would set up a young family to die is a whole different matter. I believe he would, because I believe he would do anything for, the littlest bit of fame. Because for all that he says, I never took the Minister of Magic's position because I didn't want the power, he still manages to gain a rather large amount of it, doesn't he? And frankly, being the headmaster of Hogwarts is a far better position for him because he answers to basically no one, and he can influence, generations of students into his beliefs, which he does.
He does indoctrinate, doesn't he?
It's Slughorn and his Slug Club on an even worse scale. Anyone who is, not a Death Eater is willing to, do something
jump into a fire for
something that
yes.
Albus Dumbledore asks for, because they see him as this kindly old headmaster of their former school.
That is kind of hilarious.
He is a power-hungry tyrant. And this is a quote that I absolutely love, that applies so much to Dumbledore. It's by C.S. Lewis. Of all the tyrannies, a tyranny exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive. It may be better to live under robber barons than under omnipotent moral busybodies. The robber baron's cruelty may sometimes sleep, his cupidity may at some point be satiated, but those who torment us for our own good will torment us without end, for they do so with the approval of their own conscience. That applies to Dumbledore so well.
I mean, it's a good quote in general, too.
I mean, it absolutely is a good quote. But again, this is less getting into the universe or the in-universe view of Dumbledore, more the aspect of writing him. He's a horribly written character because nobody sees anything that he does as bad. Nobody. Rowling writes him as the ultimate good in the universe. But the vast majority of his actions do not portray him as that. And that's why he's an utterly terribly written grey chess master character. And why I ultimately think that if you want to see a chess master done well, you read the portrayal of Gaius Sextus from Codex Alera.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is despised by 90% of the characters in the books. but he is ultimately working for the good of the realm. And he is fine with people hating him, because at the end of the day, if they're allowed to hate him, that means he's done his job. They're free to hate him because he's made sure that chaos is not, the way things are run.
So you know who I think is even better, but it's kind of less impactful because it's in a different series.
Yeah.
Discworld's Havelock Vetinari.
I've heard of Vetinari being an excellent, magnificent bastard.
He is basically a scheming dictator, except he does it for the good of the common people. Legitimately. Like, at no point does he try to give himself any sort of benefits.
Yeah.
Everything he does, he lives for the people. Basically, literally.
Yeah. On the subject of Discworld and Terry Pratchett, I know I said at the start I wasn't going to mention anything about Turfree, but today the gender criticals, to give them their chosen name, aka the transphobes, tried to claim that Terry Pratchett would support them if he was alive.
Oh my. Yeah, I hate.
To which point they were slapped down about as harshly as you could be by everyone, including Pratchett's daughter.
Who she would know, considering the fact that she is basically the authority on Discworld, as assigned by Pratchett.
Yeah. But I mean, just in the bits and bobs that people have posted from Pratchett's books, you can't see him as anything other than, would have gone, fuck the transphobes.
Yep.
Pratchett was, absolutely an ally.
Yeah.
So, the funny thing is, Neil Gaiman, who knew Pratchett personally, is of a similar wavelength and also has basically said, fuck transphobes, trans people deserve... Trans rights are human rights, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck Turks.
Yep. Fuck Turks,
really
fuck transphobes.
The best.
Fuck all bigots of any stripe.
But, not literally. They don't deserve that.
No.
No. Do not actually literally fuck bigots.
We'll get all sorts of nasty diseases.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to remember if there's much. What else? Let's have a look at my big old, this big old essay. Well, so in book 5, the security at the ministry is piss poor. There is literally nobody there at night. Like, they literally walk in. As I've said before, Dumbledore's talk to Harry at the end of book 5 is horrific, because he basically blames Sirius for getting himself killed. He
did do that, didn't he?
Yeah. Here's the thing. Sirius spent 12 years in wizarding Guantanamo Bay, being mentally tortured the entire time. Like, he lost 12 years of his life. So that means mentally he is about, 21, 22 years old. Which, as a 23-year-old, mentally, very bad situation. Very bad situation.
That's, without even considering the PTSD and stuff.
Exactly. And again, to then lock him in the in his childhood home, which he has basically nothing but bad memories, with the only one for consistent company being a house elf who, again, does nothing but remind him of his terrible, terrible childhood. And
Not to mention who vocally hates him.
yeah, and like, and all the while Snape is taunting and insulting Sirius, and Dumbledore has the gall to say, "Well, Sirius shouldn't have left the house if you didn't want to die." Like, fuck you, man, fuck you. Also, in that conversation, again, Dumbledore says that he knows that he was condemning Harry to 10 dark and difficult years. Like,
Why would you do that? Why?
yeah. Again, the thing is, he knows that things like Obscurials exist, and yet he leaves Harry in an environment that is basically like Petunia and Vernon specifically try and stamp the magic out of him, try and make him repress his magic.
Which has all sorts of
Yeah.
connotations, which I don't think. I think Rowling would agree with that. So the fact that she's so, like, she doesn't even recognize that much, like she's that tone deaf, is even more hilarious.
Mm-hmm. And again, he fucking puts on the ring that's cursed and kills himself basically.
Yeah, that was just, it's like, but why?
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of tone, real quick, I don't think Rowling would understand tone if it clubbed her over the head and stole all her money.
Mm-hmm.
She really wouldn't, would she?
Oh, here's the thing. The Elder Wand. It's apparently a wand, wand that always wins duels for its owner. How the fuck did Dumbledore beat Grindelwald then?
Don't think it's ever explained.
Nope. In fact, how does Draco disarm Dumbledore?
Never explained.
I mean, the theory, a potential theory for how Dumbledore defeated Grindelwald was that. Well, first things first, Dumbledore put off dealing with Grindelwald for several years, canonically. Fantastic Beasts claims that it's because of a blood pact. But here's the thing. You would have to imagine that blood pact was made before Dumbledore's sister was killed, because it would make no sense for them to make a blood pact not to attack each other after that. But if they did it before, how did Dumbledore duel Grindelwald to the point where his sister was killed? Because apparently Dumbledore was dueling Grindelwald at that point. So that doesn't make sense.
I thought we were going to talk about the Fantastic Beasts movies and all their plot holes in another video.
I know, but this is relevant to the whole Grindelwald takedown story. So that's apparently a thing. But if it's not, Dumbledore, just put off dealing with Grindelwald because he used to fuck Grindelwald. Actually, who do you think was the bottom in that relationship?
Dumbledore, obviously.
I feel like Dumbledore would be a power bottom because he wants to be in control, but also,
Yeah. But
Johnny Depp.
Yeah, but so the potential or the theory that I saw in a fanfic is that Dumbledore waited while Grindelwald's army was taken down and Grindelwald himself was on the run, paranoid, not being able to sleep, and then Dumbledore suddenly appeared saying, "My friend, let me help you," and then stunned him in the back.
Which, honestly, do not put it past him.
Yeah.
He does seem like the
Yep.
kind of person to do that.
Mm-hmm. So again, it's, you know, I mean, the fucking the fucking Deathly Hallows are so fucking dumb. They're so dumb. They really are. And
There's
they
no connecting theme with the artifacts really
no,
beyond the quote unquote folk tale.
yeah. Uh, Again, I'm just trying. I mean, we haven't discussed the implications of characters like Tonks.
Oh God,
Which
why
are,
don't you go off on that rant?
I
Or
mean,
Fuzzy, do you want to take it?
I mean, we've done it a little bit. We did it a little bit in during Pride Month, I think.
Right. Was it during the talk on LGBTQ tropes, or was it on the
I think it was the
remains of
trope.
queer coding?
I think it was queer
I think
coding.
it was both.
I think
It was a bit of both, wasn't it?
probably
I think it was
yes.
both.
Probably yes.
I think it got more focused on tropes though.
Yeah. But yeah, it's written such a transcoded character and just fucking heteronormative the fuck out of her. Like,
Not to mention killing her off screen.
yeah, killing her and Remus off screen.
Killing off a whole fuckload of characters off screen, honestly.
With no, like, because we'd spent so little time with them in that book especially, they didn't have that much impact.
Yeah, it like really didn't do much.
See, if I want to read a series with characters who had deaths with impact, I just read A Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, the Fidelius charm.
Speaking
So
of better series, I get it, because, you know, the Fidelius. I still have complicated feelings on that arc as a whole.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, Fidelius charm. Why didn't Voldemort use them to hide his Horcruxes?
Because he's a fucking dumbass.
I mean, why didn't he just stick them at the bottom of the ocean?
Read above.
C point A.
I mean, again, why didn't Harry go to live with the Wizarding family who would want to take him in and just live under the Fidelius charm? Why didn't he live with Remus under the Fidelius charm?
Well, to be fair, I can understand why they would not send a baby to live with Remus, if only because,
Werewolf
you know,
shit.
it would probably be very inconvenient for Remus to...
Here's the thing, though. Obviously, Dumbledore is able to force Snape to make Wolfsbane. Could just get him to do that. Even if, you know, for the first few years where Harry couldn't look after himself, it's what, maybe 1-2 nights a month? Get, you know, say, Dumbledore himself, or McGonagall.
Oh no, I understand.
To look after Harry
like...
on those days.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. I'm just saying that's probably the justification she would give is, you know, but like reasons.
Yeah.
Is why.
Again, you know, fucking Ron is a complete dick in book 7. Complete dick. Why did they wear the Horcrux? Why didn't they put it in their bag of holding?
Reasons.
Why didn't they put it in their bag of holding?
I believe their justification was because it's kind of alive, it could have, like, run off on its own.
Really?
Yes, I believe that was their justification. Which, fair point, it is, like, borderline sapient. Sentient, at least.
Hmm.
You know, it's kind of understandable, I guess.
Oh, here's some other stuff about the Harry Scar being a Horcrux.
Is it the scar, or is it just him?
I mean, it's apparently sort of like in the Scar, I think.
Fair enough.
So obviously a Horcrux is, serious magic, yet it can be created by accident.
Oh yeah, apparently, because like, Voldemort's whole thing was he wanted to figure out how to make one, and apparently it's a whole process. And it's this old ritual magic. So,
Secondly, by that point, Harry was, protected by Lily's sacrifice, to the point where a Voldemort-possessed Quirrell was burned by Harry's touch. So how does a fragment of Voldemort's soul attach itself to Harry? The silence is deafening, folks. The silence is deafening.
Oh god.
Third, how did Harry survive extended contact with the Horcrux, considering that, based on the locket, it had an extreme effect on its bearer?
I feel like that one can be hand-waved with the power of love.
Why didn't the basilisk venom in Chamber of Secrets destroy it?
Oh, that's a good point, huh? Unless it's like a thing that... You know what's funny? It destroyed the...
I'm pretty sure the Basilisk can destroy 2 Horcruxes.
No. So it destroyed a magical artifact of great power and evil, but the 12-year-old lived long enough to... Like, it melted something that was impervious to fire and stuff, and yet the 12-year-old managed to live and talk for, like, minutes until the Phoenix got there.
Rowling apparently explained why it didn't, saying the object must be destroyed beyond recovery, and since Fawkes saved Harry, that didn't happen.
No, but, like, how did he last so long with a giant-ass snake pumping a... Like, if you just go by proportion and scale up a regular venomous snake, he would have had, like, more venom than blood in parts of his body. How did he live that long?
Plot reasons.
He was 12.
Plot reasons. Here's the other thing. Ron can apparently speak Parselmouth. Or Parseltongue.
Oh yeah, because he watched Harry do it.
That's bullshit.
You watched him do it twice.
Watched him do it twice. And it's bullshit.
Yeah, because otherwise, why would people just not learn it?
Ron is not a linguistics prodigy. He cannot pull that shit off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's implied that the reason it's a bloodline thing is because it requires A, special bloodline magic, and B, an anatomy that allows you to make those noises.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And Harry only could do it because he was a Horcrux.
Yep.
Which, I will admit, is one of the few decent moments of setup that Rowling does.
Yeah, I don't think it's set up. I don't think she was aware of it at the time. I think she just wanted to make things interesting.
I mean, it works retroactively as setup regardless.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still, like, lame that Ron can do it.
Oh, incredibly. It's just to give him an excuse to be able to get the fucking basilisk.
Also, apparently there's just a spell that is apparently difficult to control. I think Dumbledore, of all people, he'd be like, yeah, I can do that. Right? Like, did you not just, like, find an enclosed anti-magic room and just nuke the thing? Like, if Crab can pull off casting the spell.
Yeah.
It is really weird and dumb and lame that Crab winds up inadvertently destroying a Horcrux.
He and Goyle share half a brain cell.
Yep.
And he can apparently learn this super complicated... Of course, he did die to it.
Yes.
True.
That's only because he fell off a broom.
I think we are also at the point now where we can discuss, wider issues. So if you want to go ham on something like house elves, go ahead.
I think I'll leave house elves to you. I've got other things.
I mean, house elves just are.
It's slavery.
It's
fucking slavery.
It's slavery. And nobody.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah.
It's fucking slavery.
And nobody but Hermione sees an issue with it. And even then, she gives it up after a couple of books.
How fucked up is it that character is just like, see nothing wrong with this?
Not only that,
legalized slavery.
House elves are absolutely indoctrinated.
No, yeah.
They're happy to be slaves.
Yeah.
Which is also its own kind of fucked up.
Yeah, no, they've been brainwashed hardcore over generations. It's implied that they breed the house elves.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
The way that it's non-humans in general is kind of just horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, should we mention about the centaurs in Umbridge and that whole horrific fuckery?
Literally. Yes.
I mean, yes, the implication.
Because it's implied that Umbridge gets gang raped by centaurs.
Yeah.
And it's played off as a fucking joke afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Which, Umbridge is a vile person, but she did not deserve that.
Yeah.
Also, centaurs are at no point considered, like, less sympathetic or not the good guys.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, let's be real, they did it to Umbridge, but that doesn't mean they've never done it to someone who wasn't a piece of garbage.
Yeah, that's also a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, how do you want to bet? How much do you want to bet that some of the kids who got lost in the forest?
I mean, my money is more on them having been eaten by the giant ass spiders.
Yeah.
We also don't really know what's in the forest outside of the spiders and the
spiders, centaurs, the unicorns, the fucking giant.
Oh yeah, the giants. The
giant didn't show up until book 5.
The giant half brother of Hagrid.
No, but like, it's gotta be assumed that there's stuff other than the spiders in there, right? Like other than the spiders and unicorns.
Yeah.
Also, can we talk about the fact that there's apparently an entire civilization living in a lake? It's not that big.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the merfolk, right?
Yeah, like if they wanna like go somewhere, are they just boned?
I don't fucking know.
I think it's said at one point that like the lake is connected to the sea underground. I think. I mean, it would also make sense of how the Durmstrang ship managed to get into the lake.
I just assumed it was just a teleportation sort of deal.
Let me check the wiki once more.
No, can I just say, shout out to the giant squid.
Yeah, giant squid seems fucking cool. Black Lake Incident. What's the Black Lake Incident?
Oh no, don't make me regret saying the giant squid is a bro.
No, giant squid seems like a bro.
Yeah, no, because, like, apparently the giant squid actively takes the initiative to, like, push, throw out kids who fall into the lake.
Yeah.
It just probably makes it the single nicest magical creature we meet in the series.
Oh, God. Oh, no. This is even worse for the mer people.
Oh,
what?
Oh.
The castle's plumbing network drains into it.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
What is that thing?
Oh, no.
Wait a second. Why do they have plumbing? Can they not just make it disappear?
It makes no
Oh
sense.
god, don't remind me of that fucking Rowling tweet.
Oh yeah, the Rowling tweet that said before plumbing was a thing, they just shit on the floor and then vanished it.
Yeah.
What percentage of the wizarding population do you think is literate?
Yes.
Well, Dumbledore even says his brother might not be able to read, so...
Yeah, 'cause they can't do math
Mm-hmm.
and like science and anything. Like, there's a reason that wizards are all kind of dumb, is because
Yeah.
they have they literally do not have education for children. Other than, casting spells that they probably don't really use. Like, here's the funny thing. They don't even get taught housework spells
Mm-hmm.
at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
They get taught random miscellaneous stuff that is vaguely useful in combat.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I mean, they are taught how to turn something like a tortoise into a teapot.
Why?
Yeah. I should also point out that in looking at the wiki for the lake, Rowling apparently actually said that the second task is her favorite task. The second task where people just watch the surface of the lake for an hour. Also, Neville's toad, Trevor, it apparently escaped into the lake at one point. Like,
Why
for
would
for
it come
good.
back?
No, it didn't come back for good.
Oh, okay. Well, because apparently Neville can't have happiness.
No, apparently both Pet and owner felt a sense of relief.
Okay, no, that's fair. Like, I feel like we've kind of exhausted ourselves and we've been going for 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
I think we're ready to call it.
Excuse me, what?
What happened?
Oh no.
I was looking at inhabitants of the Forbidden Forest because of what you said. There's apparently a wolf pack that is descended from 2 werewolves mating at the full moon.
Nani?
Nani?
Okay.
Nani the
So,
fuck?
what circumstances led to that? So that implies that not only have there been werewolf students before, there were 2 at once. At one point.
Okay, I'm
We're able to-
I'm reading the article here.
I'm so fucking baffled.
One curious feature of the condition is that if 2 werewolves meet and mate at the full moon, a highly unlikely contingency which is known to have occurred only twice, the result of the mating will be wolf cubs which resemble true wolves in everything except their abnormally high intelligence. They are not more aggressive than normal wolves and do not single out humans for attack. Such a litter was once set free under conditions of extreme secrecy in the Forbidden Forest at Hogwarts with the kind permission of Albus Dumbledore.
What the fuck is this series world building?
So she explains and goes into detail about that, but she doesn't explain how magic works.
Nope.
Where does magic come from? Where does it go? Where does it come from, Con Joe?
No, like, okay, you know what's funny? It's stated that first generation wizards come from having a wizard in their distant family tree. The thing about that is that, due to how the human population works, everyone is related to everyone to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder, how few wizards are there, and how inbred are they?
Incredibly.
I'm
Right?
pretty sure they stated that like there's only a handful of pure-blooded families left, and they're all horribly inbred with each other.
I mean, Sirius's parents were apparently uh,
Cousin.
either cousins or even might even been brother and sister.
I'm pretty sure they were either first or second cousins.
No, there's no brother and sister incest as far as I can tell.
You are wrong, sir. Amicus and Electo Caro.
Wait, were they banging?
Fan fiction has said that they are banging.
Okay, but like in fan fiction, everyone's banging everyone.
Yes, but
Not wrong.
can you really be sure that fucking Rowling would have ever said that they were banging?
She would have
Fair
done
enough.
it while screwing some euphemism in front of a 10-year-old or some shit. Am I wrong?
No, you're right, but like, huh? Yeah, I think I'm just tired.
Yeah, I don't
I'm kind
blame
of
you.
like not like because I want to go to sleep because I don't really want to go to sleep. Just tired on an existential level.
I think we've
You're
like
talking about the series.
yeah. I mean, I do think that we have, you know, explained at length why we believe that Harry Potter is a poorly written series. Um, and frankly, even if it wasn't, I would be against promoting it because, as we've said before, J.K. Rowling is a TERF, is a transphobe. Uh, might be a bigot in a couple of other flavors as well, for all we know. And she does not deserve to be given any more money to continue her rampage against transphobes. I mean,
Her rampage against trans people.
trans people.
Transphobes.
Sorry,
Yes.
It is 3:30
Yeah,
in the
no.
morning for me.
Yeah, oh God, why?
So,
I'm so
forgive me
sorry.
for my for if I missay something. My brain isn't 100% working at the moment.
Well, I think it's time to sleep.
It might be, yes. But yeah, honestly, if you're interested in the story of Harry Potter, or if you still like Harry Potter, but obviously, you know, agree with us that it's terribly written, please give fanfiction a try. There are some really good fanfiction out there that are so much better written than Rowling ever could, frankly. I mean, the ones that really, or that I really enjoyed, were Cynic, Sinyk. There was a very good one called A Marauder's Plan by Cats Are Cool. There was a very good long series by Stargone 1 that was that. I'll be honest, most of these are, you know, Harry and Hermione focused. But honestly, I somewhat see Harry as the fandom bicycle in that he could justifiably
Yes.
be put together with pretty much any character, given enough, you know, character development. I happen to quite like whenever he gets paired up with Daphne Greengrass, who is a Slytherin in Harry's year, who literally gets mentioned like twice. And
Wow.
is therefore just, you know, given personality by the fandom, and it's generally pretty good.
That's kind of hilarious.
I fucking love Luna Lovegood, so any fic where she plays a starring role is fantastic. Because she is weird and like not ashamed of it at all. She deserved a bigger role in the books. Why couldn't she have gone on the Horcrux hunt with them instead of Ron? She would have been infinitely more helpful. But yeah, I mean that's about all that's coming to my tired mind in terms of Harry Potter.
Yeah, I think we're ready to
I
head
mean,
out.
if
Thank you, everyone, if you've joined us.
yeah, if you want any more, information, please do give the fan fiction link a look that I've sent in the chat. Because it is, I mean, it's 100,000 words of just poking holes in Harry Potter. Well, not so much poking holes, but just seeing that holes exist. We haven't even talked about goblins and the fact that
Oh god.
they are incredibly anti-Semitic.
Oh god.
The worst part is that that's just kind of how goblins are coded.
Yeah.
They're not orcs. Like, when they're not the same as orcs, they're usually coded as anti-Semitic caricatures.
But Rowling didn't need to do it.
No, she just did it because she's a bigot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of future streams, we haven't currently got anything scheduled for tomorrow, but Fuzzy, if you're free, we could do more Mass Effect.
I can. I'll be able to let you know tomorrow. But yes,
So
that would be interesting.
That's a possibility.
I'm probably gonna do a full playthrough of Control on the channel at some point. I started it earlier, I did the first 2 hours, but yeah, I'll probably do a full playthrough of that at some point.
Tuesday, we will, of course, definitely be doing Mass Effect on that day. We have finished 3 of the main missions and only have 2 left.
Oh boy.
Oh wow!
Have you done Bring Down the Sky yet?
That's the one we're going to do next, I believe.
Nice.
Because we've been doing them in the order that you set out, which was, what was it, Novaria first?
Mm-hmm.
And
Pharos and Vermeer.
Yeah. Well, Novaria, Theorem, Pharos, and then Bring Down the Sky because it's apparently quite hard, and then Vermeer.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, we will join you, and I will let you guys sign out because I've got to go.
All right, see you later, Fuzzy.
Later.
Bye-bye, everyone.
So Mass Effect Tuesday. Thursday will be Wheel of Time. We should probably let Fuzzy know about that if he doesn't already know. And then next Saturday will be the 3-episode check-in for the Summer 2021 anime season. I'm going to have to do some major catching up over the week because most of the anime I've watched over the last few days has been Run with the Wind.
Bruh.
I can probably finish Run with the Wind tomorrow, so I'll be able to start on Monday with the rest of the stuff. I did sort of catch up to Aquatope and Remain, I believe.
Okay.
I haven't watched the most recent episodes for them, but I did get to, I believe, episode 3 of Aquatope.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm loving Aquatope, but,
It's very good.
I'm just a little bit more, gun shy on other series that I probably won't enjoy. If you have enjoyed us roasting Harry Potter, we do have a couple of other roasts scheduled. The roast of Attack on Titan and the roast of Boruto's dad.
Oh yes, those are going to be fun. Not controversial at all.
I mean, about as controversial as this will be.
Yeah.
But otherwise, as always, thank you for watching. Please give us a follow on Twitch and on Twitter, where we will obviously be telling you when we're going live. If you follow us on Twitch, you'll obviously get the notifications that you can click. Subscribe to us on YouTube, where all of our archives are going up. I'm especially putting in effort for the anime seasonal podcasts, where I'm actually putting in time codes for the different series that we're talking about. So please, use those so I'm not wasting my time. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Good night.
Later.